What is going on, everybody? Let me turn this music down. What is going on, everybody? This is episode 48 of Stats Over Politics. My name is Kevin Dent, once again filling in for our amazing host, Shaun Hoko. He's out there on the grind. We've all heard his journalism grind. I got my man, Jaevon, Toddy, and Garry with me today, and we're going to talk a lot about college football, a little bit of NFL talk, and this Giannis comments. So I'm going to go to you first. Toddy, how you doing today, man?
Feeling good, man. You know, lot to go down. You know, Kev gives us homework. He doesn't tell us what we're doing on the show. He's like, here's your homework. This is what we got to do. So I just always think it's funny. He doesn't give us an actual topic. He just tells us that this is what we're going to be doing. So
got to keep you guys on your toes, man.
Yeah. So.
For sure. Last minute procrastinating. Quick.
And it all really came from Garry, but I don't know if you guys remember, but we were doing Factor Cap. He was like, yeah, man, you got to give us time. Like, we got to do this, we got to do this. And I was like, yeah, I can't have him drop a top 10 off the top of their head. So I get it, but oh, of course, man. Of course. How you doing today, Garry?
Chilling, brother. Just got back from work, ready to go. Looking at my picks. I was like, oh, this game about to get spicy today.
Yes, it is. So I don't know if you guys.
Hold on. Oh, we got another the shirt. That shirt clean. Okay.
You feel me? I couldn't get a jersey today, so I had to put on a little graphic tee. You feel me? So Toddy, not Toddy. I'm gonna go to Garry first. So Garry, it's all known that you are a family of Cowboys fans. So I'm gonna go to you first. Trey Lance traded to the Cowboys for a 4th round pick. Tell me what Uncle Manny was going through. I want to get your thoughts, but Uncle Manny's a crowd favorite, so we got to get Uncle Manny's feedback.
What did Uncle Manny say? What did he say? He said, I was trying to look at his messages. I texted him about this. So I don't got it right now pulled up. But I know he was trying to pull first of all, I don't know why I'm wearing blue now. We talking Cowboys. I shouldn't even wear this blue right now. I forgot I put it on. But anyways, to be honest with Uncle Manny, I think he was saying I think all the Cowboy fans, to be honest with you, my brother, all my cousins that love the Cowboys for some reason, I think they're all kind of happy about it for some reason because I think they put in their mind they're putting pressure on Dak Prescott to play good this year. So if he doesn't play good, I guess they think they have a great backup and ready in line. But from my perspective, guys, I think this was I think it was good for Trey Lance to get out of the 49erville. Obviously, Vonny, I think, would agree too. It's really been a mess for 3 years if he's going to play, when he's going to get on the field, and if he's going to get the opportunity to actually show himself. Because we all know he hasn't had that many snaps or that much game time in the NFL yet to really see like what he's made of. So I feel like the Cowboys took a flyer on a young player that maybe can develop in the future. I think that it's going to be good for the Cowboys just to have, I guess, a backup, just because we all know Dak Prescott has been injured prior to, and they have one of the best backups already in the league. So I feel like this is just going to add to the quarterback room. It's sad to say they actually feel like probably got better because they did get more depth. And we all know, I'm not going to lie, Dak, I don't feel like obviously should be feeling the pressure this year. But I think really what this down comes to is this makes things choppy. Like I think Von would agree. That just makes, when you throw messes like young quarterbacks into the fray, into your quarterback room with people that are already established or already have the mantle like Dak Prescott has, it doesn't really, he obviously not going to come in there and take the reins from Dak. But at the same time, it does put a different type of pressure that obviously, as we heard the reports today, Jerry Jones did not care and did not want to tell anybody what his moves are. He basically said, I'm going to do what's best for me in this logo and this star right here, and you guys don't need to know about it at all. He didn't really care. Obviously, the thing came out and said that obviously the coach, McCarthy, didn't even know really. Obviously, Dak wasn't aware or given a heads up or a flyer on it as well. So I feel like that just shows that where the Cowboys are right now, that they're ready for business, and Dak Prescott has something to prove this year big time, because in about a few years, if he doesn't, he's going to be commanding a big bag, especially playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and he's going to be a free agent in 2 years where they won't be able to franchise tag him, so he can really get one of the biggest bags in NFL history. So, which I wouldn't doubt for him playing for the Dallas Cowboys, he wouldn't ask for that. So I feel like it's a leverage play for both parties in terms of Dak. It's like a leverage against him, obviously, and for the Cowboys, leverage to use against him maybe in the future. And obviously, it's twofold, because obviously Jerry Jones, like he said, it's going to help the quarterback room, and we're going to get more depth. We're going to get better overall. So I feel like for the Cowboys right now, it's good, even though it's not good to apply pressure to your team. But we all know this is the Cowboys. This is what they do. It's actually good for the Niners. They got the way, even though I know they're feeling a little bit on 1 to scale. Von, how dumb y'all feeling, man? Because them picks is gone. But I'm gonna let you go, Vaughn. Go ahead.
Hold on, before we go, we were talking about the man, myth, and the legend, and here he is for all the audio-only listeners.
God.
Uncle Manny, let's go Cowboys. Not one Cowboys fan in the comments. We have two. Jesse Singh for a 4th rounder. LOL. But Uncle Manny had to spin the block. Dak is not worried about it. Dak got the glasses on, man. I don't got the black ones with me today, but Dak can't see nothing, man. He see the back.
Right.
We got the back coming his way, so it's going to be interesting to see. And we got some Skull in the chat. Our good man West is in the chat. I told him we were talking about his division today, so he's going to be here and ready for you guys. So, Toddy, before I get to I want to go over the 10 worst NFL draft day trades. So this is according to CBS. So
this wasn't a draft day trade though, but I get where you're going. But go ahead.
So number 10, the Browns moved up for Trent Richardson. Richardson in 29 games only had 977 yards, and they traded 2 first-round picks. Number 9, Toddy's guy, Jets trade for Sam Darnold. They swapped ones and 3 second-round picks for my man Sam Darnold to be there for 3 seasons. He played 38 games, threw 39 picks, 8,097 yards with 45 touchdowns. Then Johnny Football. I know everyone just saw the documentary, so I'm not going to go too far into this, but they traded up to jump up 3 slots. So they gave away a first and a future third for Johnny Manziel. And we also the documentary, played 14 games, 7 touchdowns, 7 picks with 1,700 yards. Then we have Mitchell Trubisky. This one isn't really a bad day trade. It's just when you look at it, he could have gotten a lot better talent. We have Patrick Mahomes. We have Deshaun Watson. So that quarterback draft was loaded. But due to time, we're going to just jump to the top 3. Ricky Williams. Let me make sure I get this right. 2 firsts, 2 thirds, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th for him to only be in a Saints jersey for 3 years to rush for 3,129 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 18 fumbles in his 38 games played. And then the Colts traded John Elway.
I think because John Elway didn't want to go there.
He didn't want to go. He forced him out. He forced his way out. So they got 2 first-round picks for John Elway, and the rest was history. Yeah. But the man of the hour, it's only right we talk about this. The Niners jumped from 12th to number 3 to have a guy start 4 games, go 5 touchdowns, 3 picks, 797 yards. Garry, this man made $28 million off of 262 snaps. Sign me up. I'll play in a monsoon, whatever you got to do. All that for 262 snaps. My man has thrown 475 passes since his last game, his senior year of high school. Dak threw more than that last season. So, Toddy, Garry asked how you were feeling. So give us your Niners feedback and then what you're feeling for Trey Lance moving forward.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal on, trading up for 3. I can remember when we traded up from 12 to 3. I remember that day. I was on my way to work, got the notification from Schefter. Trey Lance, or not Trey Lance, it was the 49ers traded with the Miami Dolphins from 12 to 3. Kind of before that, this was like, I can't remember what had happened the year prior to that. I think Jimmy had gotten hurt, and I think we were just trashed that year. Yeah, that was the year we were basically the JV team. Pretty much everyone was hurt. We kind of just mailed that season in midway through. And I was like, damn, Jimmy got hurt again. We didn't need a new quarterback. This is a cool draft class at the time. This is a good draft class for quarterbacks. This is a guy guys I was zeroed in on was Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. Zach Wilson.
Justin Fields.
I sent numerous pictures to Shaun. I tuned into all the BYU games. I remember when they played against Coastal Carolina. I don't know if you guys remember when Zach Wilson got pushed by a guy in college. Mm-hmm. I was elated on Twitter. I was going crazy, get off my quarterback. That's what he's a quarterback. This, that, and the third. So, and then obviously there was Justin Fields, prominent guy out of high school. Most scouts said that, he had all of the physical tools, played in tons of big games. just wasn't really able to process information that well, be able to make all the right reads. That's pretty much what most of the scouts were saying. So I was kind of leaning towards Justin Fields. Me and Shaun were kind of, if you guys,
I think I came on one of your shows, Vaughn. One of those shows I remember. I said Fields too.
Yeah.
I think you guys were all saying. I think remember you guys were all both saying Fields. I'm not gonna lie. They were both
but nobody was saying Mac Jones. Mac Jones was kind of like that guy in the wins, just kind of like, hey, I'm one of those top guys as well. And then ultimately Trey Lance kind of came about. I don't really know too much about him because the year before that,
he barely been playing.
He played, I think, he played basically 1 year, and I think he didn't throw any picks that year. Threw for like 30 plus touchdowns.
41 touchdowns, 0 picks.
Yeah. So he looked great. He looked like he was running linebackers over, but now let's take this all into account. This was D2 football. Same school that Carson Wentz went to. Kevin's very familiar with him.
North Dakota State, baby.
Another thing is just the year after that, COVID kind of hit, and he only played 1 year, or he only played one game. So we didn't really get to see too much from him. So didn't really have that many reps. And then kind of going into it, you're just hearing more and more about Mac Jones. I'm like, Jesus Christ, can we not pick Mac Jones? So I'm already assuming that Trevor Lawrence is already off of the board. Urban Meyer's he's leaving Ohio State to go coach Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to be the next this, that, and the third. Okay. And then early draft talk, you're starting to hear Zach Wilson starting to take that spot. So I'm like, all right, we're probably not going to get Zach. He's going to the Jets. So I'm like, all right, we could either get Trey Lance or Justin Fields. And, draft day ends up coming, and we draft Trey Lance. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be the guy kind of going forward. We still got Jimmy Garoppolo there. So I'm thinking maybe he beats Jimmy out in camp. Camp kind of comes and goes. He doesn't play, or he doesn't win the job. Jimmy's named the starter. He played a couple of snaps in our first game against the Lions. He threw his first touchdown pass against the Lions. So I'm like, okay, Trey, he came in, did his thing. There's some excitement there. And then, Jimmy's always getting hurt. So we're like, all right, he's probably going to end up getting hurt, and Trey's going to end up taking over. So Packer game, he runs in a touchdown on 4th down. It was a very key pivotal point. So I'm kind of thinking that he's going to be more like of a runner. Like we're going to use him for wildcat purposes, kind of. But then Jimmy goes down against the Seahawks, and Trey comes in. We're losing that game. And then I remember Trey ended up throwing a touchdown to Deebo Samuel, who was wide open. Blown coverage from Jamal Adams. And I was just like, all right, Trey, he's making these. But we lose that game, though. So he doesn't really start. He gets the start next week against Arizona. And then I'm like, okay, this is kind of where we're going to be able to see we're going to see flashes. And at this time, Arizona's undefeated. I think they're 5-0. And it's at Arizona. It's a divisional game. So we're like, okay. I'm seeing kind of, him miss a couple of easy throws here and there, and kind of just he's making some good throws, but he's also missing some throws. I'm like, all right, he just needs to just get a rhythm of some sort. Ultimately, he ends up breaking his finger in that game. And then we're like, fuck, Jimmy's hurt, now Trey's hurt. Okay, now they're saying Trey's out for however many long. But then Jimmy ultimately finishes the season. Next year kind of goes on. They're trying to just give Trey the reins pretty much. And, the monsoon game happens. You can't really judge him from that. Just the weather was too crazy. Kev thinks otherwise.
Justin Fields played in it, played pretty well.
He made 3 good throws in that game. So
touchdown throws.
It was very hard to judge. So just going into the next game against Seattle, Seattle is a team that most Niner fans aren't too fond of, and we're like, all right, this is going to be the game that we'll kind of see him break out. There can't really be any excuses for him, right? And he ends up breaking his ankle on the third play of the drive, and his season is over. Jimmy comes back. Ultimately, he gets hurt. Brock Purdy comes in the Dolphins game and never looks back, takes us all the way to the NFC Championship game where we do lose to the Philadelphia Eagles towards UCL. So when you have a quarterback, not only a quarterback, but a guy who was picked last in the entire draft, the whole draft, the last person picked in the whole draft. And for him to go 7-0 in his career starts and take you all the way to NFC Championship, it's hard to turn to Trey Lance and say, all right, Trey, this is your team. We had a sticky situation with that long ago when it was Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick. And Alex Smith ends up getting hurt with a concussion. Colin Kaepernick kind of comes in and tears everything up. And obviously he's more of a dual threat. It can run a little bit. Not saying Alex Smith wasn't mobile, but Colin Kaepernick was basically, he ran like a 4-4.
He was going crazy. Him and Russell was going crazy that time.
It was. We kind of took the league by storm. Obviously, we won the NFC Championship, went to the Super Bowl, ended up losing. But Brock Purdy kind of comes in and just takes us to the NFC Championship. We're just like, oh shit, like, bro, he's the last pick in the draft. Like, what are we gonna do? So, ultimately Camp comes in and, the Niners signed Sam Darnold. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. I thought that was a little weird. I kind of mentioned that in our group chat when the signing first happened. Like, all right, Sam Darnold's going to come in and be the third guy. And Trey and Brock are going to battle it out. And I never wanted to really pick sides because I'm a Niner fan. I'm not like a Brock Purdy fan or a Trey Lance fan. I'm more of a Niner fan. Like, whoever's going to win the job, he's going to be our quarterback. I'm going to support whoever we pick.
Who are you pulling for, though, Von?
I wasn't really pulling for anybody. I was just kind of just like, whoever is going to be the guy is going to be the guy. And ultimately, Trey, I wouldn't say he really got a fair shake because he did get hurt. A lot of factors. A lot of factors played in. So he didn't really get a chance to get out there and give him a chance to really play. So in the preseason, when you're kind of seeing him split up with Sam Darnold, then he came in the fourth quarter of the Broncos game. I'm like, okay. And they ended up ultimately bringing us back, winning the game against the Broncos. Now it was against third, unfortunately, but he did have a comeback drive. So, when the news came out that Sam Darnold was going to be the number 2 guy, you're never hearing stories. Like, there's never been a story this big about who's going to be the backup quarterback. Like, this is the first time in history that you've ever heard about, like, who's going to be the number 2 guy, not the number 1, the number 2 guy. So when the news came out that Darnold was going to be the number 2, I instantly texted the group chat and was like, damn, Trey's probably gone. And then you saw that he wasn't at practice. I'm like, he's already out of there. So we started naming off places. I'm like, the Falcons, the Commanders. Kevin was very high on the Cardinals because the Cardinals, Kyler Murray was out. I was like, there's no way in hell we're trading him in division. So I was like, damn, where can he really go? I was like, the Bucs, maybe he could go there and, play. So we were all kind of all over the place. I don't think any one of us expected him to go to Dallas. It was kind of a shock when I saw him went to the Cowboys. And then I'm like, all right, so he's going to go to the Cowboys, but he's going to be the number 3 in Dallas.
Do you think the Niners made the right decision? You think they're going to regret this, Von?
It's kind of tough to say.
A year ago, they literally picked him over Jimmy G, but now all of a sudden he wasn't better than Jimmy G. That's why I was kind of confused. Like, how did he get to that spot?
It's kind of just like it's a bad look. It's a very bad look because you traded 2 first-round picks. The third pick was a pick swap, so it's really 2 first-round picks, not really 3, because the third was a pick swap. But nevertheless, this is one of the worst draft trade-ups, whatever you want to call it, in history. Because ultimately he ended up selling it for a 4th-round pick. And I was kind of shocked that we got a 4th-round pick. I thought we were going to get like a 7th, a 6th. So
put respect on my man's name.
So I was like, when Jerry gave us a 4th, I was like, okay, that's kind of in the ballpark of where we thought he was going to go. So when he ultimately, gets traded to the Cowboys, I'm like, all right, so Dak is the guy, but they have a backup quarterback by the name of Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush won what?
4-1?
Well, like 4-1. Uncle Manny, can you give me the Cooper Rush stats for last year in the chat so I can be a little bit more precise? But I'm like, Cooper Rush is already the guy, and they won games with him. They thought there was a point in time people saying that we don't need Dak to come back. He's going to do this and that. So I was like, okay. So now Trey Lance is going to be the number 3 in Dallas, but he didn't want to be the number 3 in. I don't know. It was just weird for how it kind of all played out. Now, okay, so I'm hearing all these things about Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch. They should be, coaches get fired for things like this. This is, one of the worst things in history, one of the worst trades in history. They need to be held accountable. I understand where everybody's coming from but went to NFC Championship game last year. Like, let's be real about the situation. Went to the NFC Championship last year. Our team is stacked. We had at least 7 or 8 players on the top 100 list. We have Pro Bowlers everywhere. We have arguably the greatest left tackle in like NFL history. We have Brandon Ayuk. We have Deebo Samuel. We have Christian McCaffrey's on. Like, if our team wasn't so stacked, it's like John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan could literally give a fuck. Like, I get, like, okay, it's a big deal. We traded up to get Trey Lance. And
the QB situation looks like a clown show. That's why. That's why they're getting teared apart right now. The biggest position that you have to pick.
We went to the NFC Championship game last year.
But now, you can't handle the best position.
Like, I understand
the main Trey, position, Vaughn, they're handling it like a clown show, literally.
If Trey went and played and he was bad, and then, like, he was just bad and we were stuck, basically, and we had to just get rid of him and be like, shit, like, our hands are tied. Like, I would have been like, damn. I would have, no.
Yeah, because you know he's sucked. You still don't know if he's good or not. You're going to be so pissed if he ends up doing good in Dallas. You don't know if he's good or not. You probably I think they would have traded him for Brock Purdy's heart.
Brock Purdy went 7-0 when the games he started and finished. Went 7-0. He took us all the way to the NFC Championship.
He should
300 yard. He had 300-yard games in the playoffs. He's won playoff games, so it's not like we're left high and dry, no quarterback. Damn, like, we're stuck, and we have a loaded roster. We don't have a quarterback. We got a guy, Brock Purdy. So it's not like – I understand, like, fuck. Trey Lance was supposed to be the guy, but then ultimately he ended up getting hurt, and that kind of, like, stunted his growth. He got hurt in previous games, so I feel like that kind of hurt his development a little bit more. There are just so many factors that kind of happen.
You still don't know if he's the guy or not, to be honest. I don't think you don't know. I think he's unknown still. So, I mean, it is going to hurt you. You guys, Brock Purdy's known. I'm talking about Trey Lance.
Like, Trey Lance could definitely still be a guy still.
That's what I'm saying. So then it's really going to look bad if you guys,
I'm like, why would he agree to go to Dallas and be the third guy? Now, maybe he just needs a fresh start and kind of get in where he fits in. But he's in Dallas now, and they already have a guy in Dak Prescott.
I kind of felt bad for Trey.
He's getting $40 million a year, so the only way he's getting off the field is he's injured, and he's not even the backup. The backup,
and they play different styles too.
He's not even the backup, so I'm just like, are we ever going to see Trey Lance take a snap for the Cowboys? That's something that probably will never happen, but given Dak's injury history, it's possible. But at the same time, the Cowboys already have a backup quarterback. And so, would like to see where he kind of ends up as. They got rid of Will Greer, who was their third-string quarterback, and I guess Trey's going to come in and be the guy. So, I don't – you heard Dak's comments kind of came out and said nothing kind of surprises them in this league because, it's a business, this, that, and the third. I don't think Dak's worried about Trey Lance taking his job. I just think when push comes to shove – when they're, getting into these playoff situations and they're losing still, it's going to be like, hey, we got a guy we can kind of fall off on. And, we'll take that flyer on him, which is a 4th-round pick. He could still be a guy that's really good. And, if this can happen and we can reload our team to where, like, we're not paying our quarterback, a large majority of the cap. We can kind of go back and, give Trey on a team-friendly deal and kind of just go out and sign guys and stack the roster, essentially. But, when you're paying a large majority portion, to your quarterback, which is Dak Prescott, Dak kind of – I saw Nick Wright say that Dak, his contract set up to where the last year of his deal, he can't get franchise tag. So he's basically going to be he could play the last year of his – he could pay the last year of his deal out, and he can't get tagged for it. So he's going to have basically all the leverage when that time comes. And we'll see where the Cowboys are leaning. If the Cowboys are, going to the playoffs and he's losing the divisional round, divisional Dak, they're going to look at a guy in Trey Lance and just be like, hey, we got a young bull ready to go. So I get what everybody's saying. It was an all-time bad trade, but it's not like the Niners aren't still contending. We're still arguably one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what year this was, but I'm going to take us down memory lane. There was a guy named Drew Bledsoe highest paid contract, blah, 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 blah. They got this young man named Tom Brady sitting on the bench. Drew Bledsoe goes down. Does he play again? We don't know. Yeah. No one knows what he did after that because Tom Brady came in and took over. Dak Prescott has missed 17 games in the past 2 seasons. He is coming off the worst season of his career, leading the NFL in interceptions. Hell yes, he has pressure. They would have told him if it wasn't. They would be like, "Hey man, we're bringing this guy in. We don't know what we're feeling about Cooper, but you're all good." That man woke up and found out on Twitter just like the rest of us. Someone hit the Cowboys group. They're like, "Oh shit, here we go," and he was like, "Uh-oh." And now it was here. So Dak has a lot of pressure under him. And speaking from the heart, I talked to Toddy about this today. If this comes to like Trey Lance comes in, Dak goes down, and Trey Lance becomes the next big thing, I'm going to have to kick Toddy and Shaun off the podcast because I'm going to have to deal with that twice a year. So if this man comes in here and does his thing, it's going to be crazy. Garry mentioned it in his opening segment. They both have 2 years left on their deal. Someone's going to get paid. Cooper Rush is going to be the odd man out because the biggest thing when Cooper Rush came in, they went 4-1 is the narrative was they changed the playbook. They kind of pulled things back and babysat him. Trey Lance is pretty similar to Dak. He came out in the combine a lot faster, and he has pretty much a better arm, if you ask me. So Trey Lance has a lot of things that he can still grow. He can still grow and he can still be that guy. I hate that it has to be in my division. But just going back to the draft, Toddy, I just want to go down and let you know who could have been in a 49er jersey. Kyle Pitts.
Please don't remind me.
Jamar Chase. Jalen Waddle. Penei Sewell. J.C. Horn. Pat Surtain. Devontae Smith. Justin Fields. And Micah Parsons. Could you imagine what your team would look like? And then you will still have the additional first the next year. So there's a lot of things that could have went different ways with the Niners if they didn't go down this way.
Could have just waited. We could have just waited for whoever would have fell into our lap.
Could have got Mac Jones.
Straight up. That's not that big of a difference than Mr. Brock.
Pop said Trey couldn't handle the multiple reads and offensive complexity. I just mentioned the draft, and so did my dad. He's brought up that Brock proves that the combine system can't judge the most important trait, which is hard. I wouldn't say all that. I still don't, like Garry said, I still believe that the Niners don't really know who their quarterback situation is because if Brock Purdy sucks next year, you're right back where you started 3 years ago. And then Jesse came back. Trey will play in specialty plays
next year. Well, next year is in 13 days whenever the season starts. He's not going to suck.
Hey, Jesse, I know you think the specialty players are going to work, man. We had Jalen Hurts doing jet sweeps, and it just didn't look right. You don't fool nobody. You have 2 quarterbacks on the field. Unless you're doing the Philly special, it ain't going to work. No one's going to fall. So, it's going to be interesting to think, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the NFC North preview. So like I mentioned, we had our man Wes in the chat. He has been teething at the bit to hear what we have to say about his Vikings. So Toddy, I'm going to go to you first. Let's talk about the Vikings. Let me know where you think they will fall in the division and kind of how their season's going to play out.
Brother.
Garry, yep. Sorry, it is Garry. Yep. Garry.
Hold on. Don't give my stats away, man. Hold on.
I can go first, though, Garry, if you want me to go first.
For what, the Vikings? I got the Vikings.
Yeah. All right, let's hear it, Garry. Let's do it.
I'm ready to go. All right, let me just bring the schedule up right here. Boom, boom. All right, so the Vikings, I ain't going to lie to you. I got them going 9-8. I feel they're going to have an average season. I feel like I just watched a Dalvin Cook interview. I ain't going to lie, bro. I really feel like that's going to be a big impact on them, even though I know people are trying to diminish the running back position. But I think if you talk to any player, any coach, anything, they know that position is highly valued. So losing that guy is going to be a problem. I know everyone's liking the Kirk Cousins. I know everyone's liking Kirk Cousins. I know they got one of the best receivers in Justin Jefferson. I just feel like I don't know how much this defense has improved since last year. That's the only thing. And the schedule is looking a little tough. I'm not going to lie. So the first one, they start off with a dub. They start off with a W versus Tampa at home. And then they're going to go to Philadelphia. Obviously, Kev's going to be happy with this one. That's an L. And then they're going to be back home versus the Chargers. I think that's another L. I think the Chargers, we're going to talk about obviously later when we get to them. But I'm a little high on the Chargers this year, taking the next step. And then I got them actually winning against Carolina, even though that will be a tough one because, they got a lot of young guys over there that are going to be looking to step up. The number 5, obviously, it's going to be an L versus Kansas City. That's the easy one to give out right there. Number 6, it's going to be versus the Bears. I think they're going to win this one in Chicago. Okay? Then, obviously, they're going to be going to Ninerville. Obviously, I'll give it to the Niners. This is so far away. Who knows when it comes a little closer? The prop
I think
bets might
this game's in Minnesota, so
it's in Minnesota. Yep.
Looks like a Monday Night Football game. Oh shit!
Hold on, lost my notes. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Malfunction, y'all. All right,
it's all good. We got some feedback, Gary.
No,
my man Wes said Carolina. You're crazy.
He's not even beating Carolina though. So.
I say he's beating them. I think it's gonna be a little tough one.
Close. Yeah.
6, 7, 8. All right, I'm on week 8 now. I'm just making you week 8. I got Green Bay. I got them winning in Green Bay. I don't think Green Bay, just Jordan Love is just ready for them. Obviously the divisional games are toss-ups, to be honest with you, and especially I feel like in these two teams, they've always been toss-ups, no matter who the quarterback is. So I feel like it's going to be close right there. And then when they go to Atlanta, they're going to take a W in Atlanta. I believe they're going to take a W in Atlanta. And then I got New Orleans now. Hold on, what week we on, guys? Hold on.
Should be 11.
Week 11. All right, week 11, I got them winning in Atlanta. Then I got them week 12, and after Atlanta losing to New Orleans. Then I got them week 13 beating the Broncos. And then I got them beating the Raiders. Then I got them losing to Cincinnati. All right. So now we're at week 15. And this is where I kind of got stuck. I ain't going to lie. Because Detroit, everyone's on Detroit. And we're going to talk about them obviously later because we're in the division. And I have no clue. Obviously, Detroit ended great last year. They beat Aaron Rodgers. Shit, they sent him out the city. So what else? And, they've been on the come up and up. The Coach Campbell's been really killing it. Obviously, they've been doing drafting really great. So they're nothing to play with. But saying that, I'm going to say the Vikings win this first game because I believe they're going to be at home. And I feel like they're just going to win the first game. And then they go back to Green Bay. They're playing versus Green Bay again, and I think they're going to beat Green Bay again. So they're going to be sitting, and they're going to have this last game right here versus Detroit. I'm assuming this game is going to be a game to go into the playoffs, and I think the Lions are going to do again what they did last year, what they did to the Green Bay Packers. So they're going to beat. So I got the Vikings losing the last game of the year, going 9-8, and probably most likely losing to Detroit, and Detroit heads to the playoffs.
Oh man, Detroit is coming in hot. So I was gonna go to Toddy, but since he is talking, you ready, Toddy?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Let me go ahead and give you this intro for everyone who didn't come in and pay attention to the factor caps. Toddy said Jordan Love will be the best quarterback in the NFC North in his first year with the Green Bay Packers. So Toddy, tell me what you think about the Packers' upcoming season, and make sure you show some Jordan Love. So I know it's coming.
Oh yeah, let me cook up real quick. All right, so we're gonna start week 1. Now I was kind of going back and forth a little bit on this list. I didn't X'd out. Kev was talking to me. I said, hold on, I can't talk right now. I'm doing my homework. I can't talk. We're doing my homework right now. So week 1 at Chicago, I got them winning that game. I think this Packers team defense, like their defense is still good. They lost Aaron Rodgers, albeit probably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. We get that. Now the defense is still really good. I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter at Vonny. I've been, showing you little bits and pieces. I've been quoting little bits and pieces like, "Hey, Jordan Love, you out here throwing these dimes, man. Like y'all better watch. I know it's preseason, but still, these first couple drives, he's out here doing the damn thing." Okay, so I got them winning against the Bears week 1. Week 2. In Atlanta, I think the Falcons are going to be pretty solid this year. I have them losing that game, actually. Now, we'll see if Desmond Ridder can kind of, uphold what he's supposed to be because this team is actually really, really solid. And he's got a lot around him to kind of help him be what he needs to be. So we'll see. And everybody's really high on Arthur Smith. So I think I got them losing that game. So they're 1-1 at the moment. Next week versus the Saints, I have them losing to the Saints. I'm very high on the Saints this year. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I think the Saints are going to win their division. I think Derek Carr is an upgrade over Jameis Winston, over Ian Book, over freaking whoever ever was the quarterback before. I think Derek Carr is miles ahead of that person. So I'm the winner in that game. So 1-2 to start. Next week against the Lions, I have them beating the Lions at home. This is kind of where they start to, reel it in a little bit, get back to Lambeau and just try to, just start winning games. Next week, I feel like we're going to start rattling off a couple of victories here. So they have the Raiders next in Vegas. I don't think the Raiders are going to be in a good day this year, even though they do have my old quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're going to be better than the Packers. So I have them winning that game. Next week at the Broncos. Now, a lot of people are, starting to change their tune. Russ is going to be the guy. We had Manny come on last week and say Russ is still that guy. Sean Payton's going to fix him, this, that, and the third. I'm going to call cap on that and say Russ's fine days in Seattle are over, and even Sean Payton can't fix him. So that's going to probably be a tougher game to a lot of people. I think the Broncos are probably going to be favored in that game, but I got the Pack winning, going to Mile High and beating the Broncos. Next week, got the Vikings. Vikings at home. Now, Wes, I remember, I think last year, first game of the year, when Aaron Rodgers went to Minnesota, and I think the Vikings won that game, and it was like Justin Jefferson's coming out party, and no one could stop him. The talk of the town was all the rookie wide receivers, how comfortable they're going to be with Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to be able to really build a rapport with him. So there was a lot of off and on, off the field and on the field with Aaron Rodgers going into that game last year. So first game against the Vikings, I have them actually winning because it is at Lambeau. But I do think that they'll probably end up splitting. So later in the schedule, we'll talk about them probably losing. And then against the Rams, I have them beating the Rams. Very unsure about what the Rams are going to look like this year. And they could be one of those teams that like, hey, everybody's healthy and they'll just bounce back. But at the same time, I don't think their defense is the same. Offense is, it's going to be very Cooper Kupp reliant. It's just going to be, you got to stop Cooper Kupp. But we all know even when Cooper Kupp was the guy, you still couldn't even stop him. So we'll see where that leads. But I do have them beating the Rams. Against the Steelers at home in Lambeau. I actually have them losing to the Steelers here. I think the Steelers are going to be one of those teams that
let them know, Gary.
We'll have to kind of watch out for. Obviously, Mike Tomlin is, a coach that never is to be played with. I think he's one of the top coaches in the league year in, year out. George Pickens probably going to have a breakout year. Kenny Pickett, according to me, Kev, Gary, basically only Sean is the only guy that doesn't believe in Kenny Pickett.
Come on, man. I'm loving the love today. Thank God, Sean.
I have them losing to the Steelers here. This is kind of where they go on a little bit of a skid here. Against the Chargers next week, it is going to be in Lambeau. I have them losing. Herbert's going to show you why he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. It's really not much to be said. I just think they have a better quarterback there. It's going to be at Detroit next week. I have them losing on the road. Detroit is going to be a very feisty team this year. Dan Campbell showed a lot towards the end of last year and them ultimately beating the Packers in the last game of the year. Aaron Rodgers' last game as a Packer, they retired Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers, you could say, and shipped him off to New York. So I think the Lions are going to be a very feisty team. And then next week you got Patty coming to town. I think the whole universe is going to bet whatever the Chiefs spread is that game. You take
5 right now.
It's 5. It's 5 points or
right
it's
now.
5. Hammer that 5. It's probably not going to be 5. It's going to go up. I guarantee you. It's going to be like 8.5.
But the Chiefs are that team that every year
they're not good against spread.
They're always always, bro. Literally.
But I'm telling you right now to hammer the spread for that Chiefs Packers game. Starting to get their groove back a little bit. Playing against the Giants, but you're going to New York next week. I have them winning that game. I just think that they from here on my list they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4 straight. So they got to get back. Got to get back into that playoff race and compete for the division. So I have them winning that game. And then you have the Bucs. You basically play the rest of the NFC South. You got the Bucs next week. I have them winning that game. I have them playing against the Panthers. Kevin's very high on Bryce Young, but I do think that the Packers end up coming with a win here against the Panthers. And then we have them. The last 2 games is at the Skull in the Vikings. And then you have them against the Bears. So against the Minnesota Vikings, they're going to Minnesota. I have them losing that game. I think this division you could arguably look at it. It's going to be very, very close. I feel like a lot of these teams are going to kind of cannibalize themselves. There's not really any separation per se from either of these teams. It's just kind of like, all right, since Aaron Rodgers is gone, it's anybody's game. Like anybody can go.
Unless Justin Fields becomes that man.
And we'll see. It's his division for the taking. I have them losing to the Vikings there, and then against the Bears, I think the Packers sweep the Bears this year, in my opinion. So they beat them first game of the year, and then beat them in the last game of the year. And those will be probably two totally different teams. I think Jordan Love is going to outplay Justin Fields in both of those games. So with that being said, the Packers are going to go 10-7, and I believe they are going to win the division.
What a hot, spicy Jaevon Toddy take.
Yeah. So,
but ladies and gentlemen, we talked about the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Fields. So I'm going to go through the Bears schedule and let you guys know. Me and Toddy talked about it prior to the show. He sent me a video of, I don't remember what show it is, but them talking about, Justin Fields taking this Jalen Hurts lead. What did Jalen Hurts get? A number one receiver. What did Justin Fields just get? DJ Moore. I think this could be one of the top quarterback wide receiver league duos in the league. So I'm going to start with week one. The Green Bay's coming to them. Toddy had that as an elf. I'm going to have it as a W. I think they're going to split with the Packers. So either they win this game or they lose the next game. Then they go to the Bucs. This is a Tom Brady-less Bucs where we don't really know what they're going to be. We had conversations back and forth. Well, really only Shaun had conversations back and forth about Kyle Trask, but we all thought it was going to be Baker. So I'm going to have the Bears starting off 2-0. Then they go to Kansas City. I think this is going to be a hell of a game, but you can't bet against Pat. So I think this is where the Bears take their first L. Then they have the Broncos coming to town. They're going to smack the Broncos. This next game on the road in Washington, I went back and forth on this all day. I have nothing but love for the Commanders, and now they got Chase Young back. Oh, bro, I'm a huge Chase Young fan, and I'm a huge Scary Terry guy, so I got to kind of show a little bit of love. So
you're a Sam Howell guy?
No, I specifically did not mention it.
Hey, this is the Eagles man talking right now.
So I'm gonna have the Bears.
You like a couple guys on there.
Yeah, you got like a couple guys, man. I had no Dell Giants jersey. You gotta support a couple guys here and there. So then the Vikings coming to town. And I'm sorry, Wesley. I'm gonna have the Bears getting this. I think you guys are gonna split. So whether they lose this one or win the next one, I have you guys splitting. Then they have the Raiders coming to town. This is gonna be a W. They head to Chicago. They head to LA to play the Chargers. And I think this will be Justin Fields' hello NFL moment. I think he's gonna go on the road to Justin Herbert's house and say, I'm the better Justin. And I got the Bears winning this game, ladies and gentlemen.
This is on Sunday night?
Yes, Sunday night.
Wow, okay.
And then we have – go ahead, Garry.
No, I was saying it's in L.A., so that's going to be, it's going to be a show then.
Then another road game against the Saints. I have them getting the Saints. The Panthers come to town. I have them beating the Panthers.
You have them beating the Saints?
Yes. I have them splitting with Detroit as well, so take it how you want. This next game at Minnesota, I have the Vikings getting the W. Then they go into the bye. So they're going into the bye with 4 losses right now. Coming out, they have the Lions. I think since they lost at Detroit, they're going to win at home when they come to town. Then they have to go to Cleveland. And I think this is where the first part of the second half, L comes. I think the Browns are going to get them. I'm a huge Deshaun Watson fan, and I think they're only going to get better. Deshaun and Amari are going to be really nice. They have a lot of guys in the backfield with Nick Chubb. They don't have Kareem Hunt anymore, so it's going to have to be Nick Chubb, the bell cow back. Then they got the Cardinals. We've talked about the Cardinals. This is going to be a slap in the face. Then they got the Falcons coming up, and they're going to beat the Falcons. Then they head to the Packers, Toddy. You didn't hear when I said it at first. When the Packers go to town week 1, Jordan Love getting back on the bus saying, damn, Aaron, you couldn't give me one more year of mentorship? One more year of love?
Oh, my God.
So, end of the year, divisional game. Winner wins the division.
Oh, it's going to come down to that? That's crazy. That'd be crazy.
I know. I just said the other game.
The Bears beating the Packers to finish at 10-7.
So you have them beating
the division. They're going to split with everybody but the Packers.
10-7. I'm not gonna lie. 10-7 is a big. So what were they last year? Like 2 and something.
3.
7 wins added, Kev. That's a big jump, my guy. Big jump.
They'll double their win total.
Double.
Do that.
Yeah, they'll win 6 games, 6-11.
6.
they'll win 6 games.
So we're a man down. We were preparing to have another guy. So since we don't have one, Garry, like you weren't here last week, so we did it as a panel. So as a panel, we went through the Lions schedule and we determined their record. So that's what we're going to do here with the Detroit Lions. Unfortunately, Thursday night, Patty's coming to town. I think I speak for the panel. I think they're going to start off the season 0-1. Got it. Then Seahawks come to town. Who we taking? Week 2.
I got Seattle. Seattle got a lot of continuity to come. This team kind of plays similar too, and they have a running game still going. Gino, I think, is going to play a little bit better than Goff. Come on now, Gino had a better. Give that man his respect. Come on now.
I don't know. Derek Goff was in.
He was solid last year. I just like I like what Seattle got on offense to this year.
He was Kirk Cousins without the
DK
chain,
still there. DK still there. Come on now.
So who are you taking, Toddy?
I like the Lions.
Lions. I didn't want the Lions too here, so I think they're going to come out 1-1 here. Falcons. I think I speak for the panel. I think they're going to beat the Falcons
right now.
Detroit.
Packers at Green Bay, Week 4. They're coming in at 2-1. What we thinking?
I got Detroit.
Yeah, I got Detroit.
I got Detroit.
That's fun.
Coming in at 3-1. They got the Panthers coming to town. I think I speak for the panel. I think we're good with the Lions. They're at 4-1. They have the Bucks the next game. I think I speak for the panel. I think we're gonna take Lions.
Yep.
5-1. Headed into Lamar's house. What are we doing, fellas?
That's an L. That's a loss.
It'll be a feisty game though.
I was about to say, could be a little feisty, man.
No. Lions are gonna play tough games all year. I'm not gonna lie.
All their games are gonna be very close.
They're gonna be close games, so it's not gonna be no blowouts here. So
this is the Jameson Williams return. I would take the Lions
against the Raiders.
Yeah, the Ravens, because they have a bye and then they play the Ravens.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah,
So then they got the Raiders coming to town. I think I speak for the panel. I think we're all gonna go Lions here.
Okay.
So there are 2 losses at the year. We got the Chargers. The Lions head to LA to take on the Chargers. I think I speak for the panel. We'll all take the Chargers.
Yep, Chargers.
Perfect. So now that's 3 losses. First game versus Chicago in Detroit. Who we taking?
Oh, Lions.
Yeah.
No, Chicago love, man.
You already picked Chicago, didn't you? So
yeah, I picked Chicago. All right, so that's
they're gonna split. So probably when they go to Chicago, always.
All right, then Packers coming to town. They already have 4 losses. This is gonna be loss number 5.
Well, yeah, I had them beating the Packers before, so
I got Detroit winning this game.
Okay, they're gonna sweep the Packers.
Yeah,
well, Garry doesn't do the Packers.
I don't think they'll be that good this year. I think they're gonna be good because the whole NFC sucks. But I think they're gonna be solid. But
is this a London game?
It's somewhere. Yeah, it's at 9:30 in the morning. It's somewhere.
It's got to be a London.
Then they head to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Is this loss number 6?
Thanks.
Saints.
Taking the Saints?
I think Derek Carr got something to prove.
The Saints are
okay. Loss number 6. Then we head to Chicago in December. It's gonna be cold. I don't think I'm gonna go Chicago here.
It's gonna be a brick. It's gonna be a brick in Chicago.
I'll get to Chicago.
Okay.
I think Justin Fields will be cooking by then, but I don't know if it'll be enough.
Number 6. Then they got the Broncos coming to town. I think I speak for the panel. We're gonna take the Lions.
The Broncos are so iffy, bro. From last year, I don't even know where they're gonna be. But
it might be Josh Stidham at this time.
You don't never know. You don't know. That'd be crazy if it is.
Is it Jack or Josh?
Josh.
Jared Stidham.
Oh, Jared.
I knew something.
Jared Stidham. Yeah.
Sorry, Jared. That's disrespect. Sorry, brother.
All right, so we're taking the Lions with 5 losses. They have the first game against Skull. I'm gonna go Vikings here.
Give me the Vikes, baby.
In Minnesota, I'm going Vikes.
Jay Jettas for 160.
That's loss number 7, guys. Let's keep counting. That's loss number 7. Then they head to Jerry's World.
I got them losing to the boys.
I got the Lions.
Wow. Trey Lance.
I got the Lions.
They're sitting Dak out.
Yeah.
Are they sitting Dak out this game because they already got playoff spot? And they're like, let's see what Trey Lance got.
Wait, how they got the playoff spot? They got Philadelphia in their division.
That's true,
brother. They fight, kicking and scratching. All right, last game of the year. Minnesota comes to Detroit. Who we taking, fellas? They already have 8 losses.
I already said Detroit.
So 8 or 9 or 9 and 8.
It's 9 and 8.
Yeah, they probably split, so 9 and 8.
right. Okay.
Might see Hendon Hooker this year. We'll see, because Hendon Hooker is starting the year on the PUP list, so he's gonna miss the mandatory 4 games. So maybe we might see Hendon off of ACL. The Tennessee quarterback beat Alabama last year. I don't know if a lot of guys know who Hendon Hooker is.
He was a first round pick.
He
get hurt.
He was on the way. He could have damn near been the Heisman Trophy winner last year if he wouldn't have tore his ACL. So could be a diamond in the rough. He was picked in the second round, so the Lions think some type of way about him. So if Jared Goff isn't living up to his standards, we could see Hendon Hooker this year. But I still think Jared Goff is a capable NFL quarterback.
So before we go to the AFC North preview, Garry, last week we had the news of Jonathan Taylor getting access or granted the permission to seek a trade. Tomorrow, the deadline for Jonathan Taylor's trade hits. So what were your initial thoughts, since you weren't on the pod last week? What were your initial thoughts when they finally granted him access to seek a trade? And what do you think are some good destinations for him and why?
To be honest with you, I think it's sad to see, because this guy is a young stud right here who, is basically already trying to backdoor the system, because he knows if he plays on this contract like they kind of want him to do, he said, I guess, before training camp that he was, going to play out his contract and, renegotiate or talk about his contract later on. But then we all know what went down with the running backs this offseason, where, there was a meeting, things that played into that nature where they're not feeling as respected and as well compensated for their gifts as I believe they should be too. So I feel like he's kind of, fighting for his guys in the running back community here and, making them pay his worth right now, since, they've been trying to play the game of, use you all up and pay you for a little bit and then just send you away. So I feel like he's smart for doing this right now. At the end of the day, you got to worry about you and your family generation of, setting yourselves up for their future. And, he is not like a player where he's, he's still young. He hasn't got his real bag yet. So I understand where he's coming from. He wants his bag. I know everyone wants him to be quote unquote a team guy. And, probably, I'm assuming so. Indianapolis Colts fans are probably tearing him down because, they want him to help rebuild the culture and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, that only works when, everyone's feel like they're getting paid. Simple. When, you feel like you're getting paid and you can work on the master plan here, which is the Super Bowl in every NFL situation. So I feel like, he deserves his money. I feel like he should go to a place hopefully that can, obviously is going to pay him. I think that's going to be the tricky part, guys. I think the NFL is, in a way, they ain't saying it, but I kind of feel like they're kind of colluding on this whole running back situation, where maybe it's a wink. Yeah, it's pretty wink, obvious. That's like, we all can. It's kind of like what they did with the Lamar Jackson situation. When we remember when obviously they basically want the Browns situation where they paid Watson the whole full guaranteed, and they don't want that to be the new standard. So they're like, everyone's basically like, chalk that up for the Browns being dumb, and let's not, don't start that trend. So like, how are, they're all impact. That's one thing that's different about the NFL. I feel like we all kind of peep that NBA, like, no matter what, the guy's going to get mostly what they want. And you could tell the NFL does not want that trend to start, where the NBA, is kind of having a problem, to be honest, where like guys are not even now these days getting the contract and then demanding the trade. So they're getting the bag and they're getting where they want to go. So obviously the NFL doesn't want that to start happening. They obviously want to have control as well of where the players go and things of that nature. So that makes sense for the business, I guess. So even though at the end of the day, the players are the product and they should make them happy. So I feel like, and answer your question, Kev, where I feel like he should go. And the second part of your question, I feel like, to be honest, whoever was going to give him the bag, to be honest with you, I don't know who's going to give him the bag right now. I feel like the Miami Dolphins would be a great destination for him. Oh, that would be just throw another guy in that division. That division would be loaded. I feel like the Bills, obviously, I think those two teams right there are in the same division. They should both be going for Jonathan Taylor services after, especially to see the Jets just come up with Dalvin Cook. So I feel like you got to bring more fire. That division is becoming more and more feisty as the days go by. So I feel like they're going to have to really – I feel like that's my two top destinations, Kev. I feel like he should try to get to the Bills. Or, I think the Bills should try to trade for him, or I think the Dolphins should try to trade for him. And I think that would be the best situation for him. And hopefully they got some money, because I don't think they're going to be paying Tua, not just yet, so they can, maybe pay him for the next couple of years, because we all know he was hurt last year. But the year before, this was one of the best running backs in the league, and I expect him to get right back on track to that. And simple as that. So I feel like he's going to be a high commodity, and he can help a team win easily.
All right, Toddy, do you have any thoughts that have anything changed from last Monday when we first got the news? Has anything changed in this week-long trade holdout or trade destination, I guess?
Not necessarily. I think maybe the only thing that could have probably changed is, him seeing that Josh Jacobs signed. So maybe that might be an incentive for him to be like, hey, maybe I can come back.
They're on a different timeline.
Because
to be honest.
that's true. Josh Jacobs is probably coming off the best. He was the rushing champ last year. He's coming off one of the best. He's coming off one of the best. Basically coming off a career year in Josh Jacobs, and he ended up signing. I think it was either $11 million, $12 million was his deal. So this could incentivize John Taylor to be, maybe to go back to the Colts and say, hey, maybe we can sign for this. It's basically like a franchise tag deal, but if he's getting like more than the franchise tag, $2-3 million more over, then he might be cool with that. If not, then I do see him going to Miami. I did see a report earlier in the week say that Miami sent a trade over to the Colts, but they rejected it. So I'm kind of wondering what that offer could have been. Maybe they're probably looking for more trade compensation for Jonathan Taylor. Like I said, I could see something similar. I wouldn't say to the extent of a Christian McCaffrey deal, but something along those lines with multiple picks involved. Maybe it might not be a first-round pick, but it could be multiple 2s and a couple of 3s, maybe a 4th. But we'll see. Kev said that they have till tomorrow because each team has up until sometime tomorrow to submit their 53-man roster, and that's kind of going to be their, set team until whatever the trade deadline is. And could we see nothing happen and Jonathan Taylor just sit out to the trade deadline and he gets traded at the trade deadline? That is definitely a possibility. But I think that he would probably rather just play, in my opinion. But, we've seen running backs sit out before. And when it comes to, exactly, Le'Veon Bell, he didn't get his bag. He sat out a year. But when he did sit out a year, he didn't really come back and wasn't really the same. So I think Jonathan Taylor is definitely one of the top running backs in the league when he is healthy. So him and Anthony Richardson, the dynamic is there. It's a crazy dynamic.
Scary.
It would be pretty scary. So it's not like he's coming back and it's like, fuck, I got to play with these guys. He's playing with, top 4 pick, and he's got a lot of potential, a lot of big game potential. So
Colts aren't going to be good this year, guys.
The Colts aren't going to be good, but you're going to see flashes of Anthony Richardson.
For sure.
Hey,
I just hope he gets more than 1 year deal. Like, I feel bad for these guys getting 1 year deal playing football, and one of the worst, literally the position to stop you. You have to get smacked, and you have to hit one of the biggest guys. So it's like really ridiculous. Like literally, you're getting a 1 year deal. Like, so if next year we just mentioned Barkley, knock on wood, I ain't got no wood or nothing, but hopefully none of these guys can get injured and can stay healthy because. Literally, then you're going to be screwed. You can, like kind of Odell kind of went through this other year when he, how he got injured in the Super Bowl, basically sat out a year, couldn't get paid, lost out a year of money because he wasn't financially secure the next year. So, hopefully, Jonathan Taylor can get financially secure, in the long term as well. I think that should be one of his key points here if he can pull it out for the running back market.
It's going to be interesting to say, man. I was telling Toddy, man, how we don't lose. Don't let Howie
have in every conversation.
Hey man, don't let Howie have a hat in the ring. Don't let Howie Roseman have a hat in the ring.
Literally,
because he might be in that midnight green. Just saying, man, it will look great. You want to hear the show,
right?
Hey, man, Rashad Penny, bye-bye. But, hey, man, Taylor Swift in the backfield. We're going to be all right.
How many y'all got? Y'all don't need him. Y'all literally call for every person. Though. I think Ian Rappaport says I don't even mention the Eagles no more. They literally call for every person.
Hey, bro. People want to come play in Philly. I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, it might be the –
Kev.
Hey, they're picking up. Jonathan could have said no. Jonathan could be like, nah, man, I don't want to go.
I don't think Jonathan got too much say in this, guys. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think he got no say.
Yeah, that's true as well. It is the NFL.
Urson might try to send him to the freaking Bears.
Nuts. So I'm really, really interested to get Gary's thoughts. We are now doing the AFC North preview. We all know Gary is a die-hard Steelers fan. So, Gary, we're going to go to you first. Let me know what you think about the Bengals schedule. I know this is going to be hard with your die-hard team. Your yellow flags, your yellow towels. So let me hear your thoughts on what you think the Bengals will do this year.
All right, guys, the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, how the tide have things flipped with these guys. I used to make fun of the Bengals and the Browns. Only thing I really had respect for in my division my whole life was the Ravens. No matter what, they always came hard-nosed. Now, you got to give respect where respect is due because they have the best quarterback in the division right now and Joe Shiesty and Joe Burrow.
Joe Shiesty.
And they make this whole. We already know. Just I think you guys would agree. I think Vaughn would agree too. We got the hardest division I think now in football. I think it's pretty clear cut now, especially with all the quarterback play and all the depth we have, and every team plays each other pretty tough. So let's go down the list. All right. It's going to be shocking because I'm a Steelers fan and I hate saying this, but I got to give respect because these Bengals are really knocking at the door. We all know what they've been doing this last few years. Knocked out
Joe playing
KC. Huh?
Is Joe playing week 1? I heard that he's kind of like, he's looking good for
he
week
might.
1,
I know they said he was iffy, but I still think they're going to come out and beat the Cleveland Browns. I don't think Deshaun Watson is just, I still believe he's going to be back from his trials and tribulations on and off the field and going to come back for this Cleveland team. This Cleveland team is actually kind of slept on, to be honest, because they still got a lot of talent on this team. And if he can get his legs and get some type of form back to 2020, he's been basically out for 2 years. If he can get some back to that, I think they'll be good, but not just shit in week 1. All right. Then I got in Baltimore. I got the Bengals winning at home versus Baltimore. I do think again.
Games early.
I'm early, and I do like I just mentioned. Like I said, starting off this whole segment, that I'm saying that all these games are going to be close, especially our divisional games. I do believe the Ravens will be good this year too, especially bringing Odell in the mix, and Lamar now is happy and locked in for the future. And we all know they've been having injury concerns the last few years, so they'll be on the up and up, but not just yet. The Rams, I got them having a down year, obviously, so I got them again winning versus the Rams. So far, they're on a 3-game winning streak, Toddy.
Yeah.
I got them beating Tennessee, 4. We all know I got them beating Arizona. You already know that's 5. I got them beating Seattle. That's 6. I ain't gonna lie. They're going 6. They're going 6-0. And I hate to say this because there's the Bengals. That means 6-0. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be really tough for my Steelers to win the division. So I'm not expecting my Steelers to win the division. We can, I know Kev has my team to go down my list, but I'm putting it out now. My Steelers probably not going to win the division, but that wild card I feel like is right in our hands. But we'll get to that a little later. All right, now I got your team, San Francisco. This is going to be a real tough game. Obviously, you guys are deep. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, exactly. And
I think it was 2 years ago.
Did you guys win that game or no? Because y'all defense was still good. Obviously, been good.
Yeah, game one. I think it was last year or the year before.
Joe Shiesty wasn't playing though. Probably, I'm assuming he wasn't there yet, was he?
No, he was there. It was the game that went to overtime. Brandon Ayuk scored a touchdown. He ran.
Okay.
He scored in overtime, but they didn't call it a touchdown. They had to review it, and then it was a touchdown. It was a crazy game. Though.
Well, it's a loss, brother. It's a loss.
However you say it, brother.
I'm sitting at 7 wins, and I ain't gonna lie, this schedule's looking tough. I got them beating Buffalo again. They beat Buffalo in the playoffs last year. I got them 8-0 so far, Vaughn. I got them 8-0, and it's sad to say I'm so pumped up. But I do like Joe. I do love watching. You cannot like watching the Bengals offense. Like they're kind of doing Patrick Mahomes 2.0, but obviously you don't. But then we got obviously Houston's a W. That's easy. So right now we're sitting at 9.
Stroud.
This this right here.
They go quick.
9 wins, and they lose to Baltimore. They lose to Baltimore. Ooh. Lamar Jackson shows what's up. This is not an easy division you're going through. I should be one. Don't forget, I was an MVP too here. Don't forget about me. So Lamar Jackson, I think by this time, hopefully he's healthy and cooking. I got them winning this game. So right now they're sitting at 9-1. I got them beating my Pittsburgh Steelers. I got them beating my Pittsburgh Steelers.
Y'all?
No, hold on. Pump the brakes. All right. Then I got them beating Kev's team, even though I like them now a little bit. I got them beating the Jags. I got them beating the Jags, Kev. All right. So right now they only have 1 loss in the season after 12 games. They're sitting at 11-1. Wow. I got them beating. We ain't got to talk. We're going to Indiana and Minnesota double back-to-back W's. So they're on another 4-game winning streak. And yes, no, Vaughn, they ain't beating my team again. We gonna get their number, I think, one time, and we're gonna get them at the end of the year.
Did y'all beat them like last year, or y'all was supposed to?
We beat every team in our division. We play close. I think every team plays close. So
I don't. Trubisky game when y'all.
I think so. Yeah.
That was
I believe so. I can't remember right now, but I got my Pittsburgh Steelers giving them their 2nd loss of the year. Mike Tomlin is always great when he is in a underdog in any of his games. I think Yvonne will know that's really a good bet to take anytime Mike T and my Steelers are underdogs.
They're going to be dogs in that game too.
Yep, exactly. Yep, they're dogs up for sure. Right now, they doesn't say that. Obviously, say it right now, but obviously, then I got them losing back-to-back losses in the end of the year. They're losing to KC. KC, we obviously when we get to them, I might have them going undefeated. We don't have to see that. I got but that's how you.
Whoa! They play the Eagles, man. Watch your mouth.
Oh, okay. We'll see, kid. You know I'm baby goat, and I'm riding with the baby goat every year. I ain't gonna lie. But and then they end the year versus Cleveland, and they beat Cleveland. So that means they end up sweeping Cleveland. They beat Cleveland start the year. They beat Cleveland at the end of the year. They go 14-3, and sad to say, they take my division. But my Steelers will still have a chance with a wild card. That's what I got for the Bengals. I think Joe Shiesty might be MVP if he goes 14-3 and puts some high numbers up. I think between him, we're not talking about that real quick, but obviously this is a quick take on it. I don't think Patrick Mahomes, even though he can be great, I don't think it's gonna be too tough for him to get another one. I feel like just this year and back to back again. So I think I got Joe Shiesty putting his MVP resume up right here in this season.
Man, the energy is freaking high for episode 48. Make sure to leave a like. It helps us grow, and we really do support it. So because the energy is high, fellas, I'm going to go next. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wave them flags. So, a little bit of Kevin's weekend, I was playing the game with my guys, and they were saying, Kevin, we need some more toxicity. Got to get toxic. I said, just wait on it, fellas. Week 2 or after that Monday, after week 1, when we come back on Monday, Gary's gonna be up $200, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah, Kev. Oh yeah, Kev.
No Bosa, no W.
Bosa, so when Bosa signs at the end of the week, what are you gonna say?
Hey man, the game's coming up close. No Bosa in the practice. He might have to sit on week 1 for rest. We don't know. All right.
I just got a little delivery real quick. A little delivery in my hand.
There you go. Want to know.
Good looking at Jesse.
The Steelers got the Browns coming to town. I got the Steelers in this one. They head to Vegas. I got them winning in Vegas.
I might be in this one. I'm not being in the building for this one.
Heading to Houston. What my man Jameis Winston say? We eat the W's. Okay. 4-0 headed in. Lamar's coming to town.
Gary's gonna be. You can't tell Gary shit if they're 4-0.
And George Pickens at this point at 4-0 are taking the NFL by storm. Lamar's coming into town and he's leaving with an L. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers 5-0 going into the bye.
Bro, you cannot.
And when we talking about
big shit,
I'm talking big shit.
Week in, week out.
Shaun, when you listen to this, I'm talking to you directly.
Hey man, God. So look, I know they started off hot, went to the bye, they fell down. This ain't that year. Big Ben ain't quarterback. Coming out the bye, going to LA, another one. 6-0. Then Dougie P comes to town, and that's when the Pittsburgh Steelers take their first L.
Okay, I'm fine with it.
Then the Titans come to town. DeAndre Hopkins, is he gonna come back being top 10? It don't matter. I got the Steelers getting the dub. Then they got the Packers. The Steelers defense by this point, TJ Watt probably got 8-9 sacks. They're flowing. I think they're going to beat the Packers. Mm-hmm. Then they're going on the road to see Shaun again. I love you, Gary. I think you guys take an L here. I think you guys are going to split with them. I think, like I mentioned, I talked about Deshaun Watson, how big of a fan of him I am.
Mm-hmm.
Then
I think he's going to be good too.
They head to Cincinnati, Gary. Only 2-game losing streak of the season. Take this L. Then you got the Cards coming to town. W. Pats coming to town. W. Going to the coast, Toddy. What is that? A W.
Okay.
Then they got the Bengals again. Another L. Gary, get the brooms out.
We can't get one.
No. Hey, but shit gets deep. It gets deeper. You head to Seattle. 12 gang. The Sea Pigeons.
Manny.
And you walk out of there with a W.
It's hard.
Yep. I thought you were gonna pump up Manny right there. I know he's gonna be in the chat on me.
You got to end the season with an L to Baltimore. So I have you guys finishing 12-5.
That looks like a wild card.
What y'all go last year?
We take 12-5.
Y'all go 9-8 last year.
Yep.
So Kenny Pickett improves by 3 games.
Yeah.
Uncle
has,
Manny,
he didn't
man,
play.
I
He didn't
appreciate
play that
it.
much.
Uncle Manny said, I haven't seen Gary this past week without a drink in his hand. So Gary's feeling good.
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fans
Bengals
wanted
playing the gospel
toxicity.
right now.
Let this man come in 5-0 at the bye week. You will see the most
my
toxic
God.
show ever. I was telling
Homecoming.
everybody, if the Niners lose week 1, it might just be me and Gary on the podcast. I don't know if they can handle it, bro. It took everything out of me to come out
I've
to
been
Super Bowl.
talking big shit.
I
Gary
couldn't
and Shaun are
couldn't
supposed to be
imagine.
coming over. They're supposed to be coming over week 1 to the house to watch the game. So it's gonna be
Shit
crazy.
gets deep. So Jaevon, Toddy, will you have the
Baltimore Ravens?
So let me know what you think of the rebirth of Odell Beckham. We have Xavier Flowers. We have Rashawn Bateman, Mark Andrews. The list goes on and on and on. So what are we going to see after the new contract, Lamar Jackson?
I think I've been on record that Lamar is probably going to have an MVP-like season. Just given the fact based off of, his win percentage is in the 60s, I think. He has missed a lot of time the last 2 years, due to injury. I think Lamar is going to try to become more of a pocket guy, but, obviously he has blinding sub 4.4 speed, when he's out in the open. Didn't run the 40 at the combine because, you don't want to get people to be, what's Lamar running? He should be a wide receiver, should be a running back. No, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Let's get that straight.
Straight up.
So, week 1, they have the Texans. I have them winning this game. I just think, CJ Stroud's going to probably get his welcome to the NFL moment in this game. And it's going to be tough for him, especially him in Baltimore. So I have them winning that game. Week 2, they travel to Cincy. And Garry is very, very, very high on the Bengals, a team that is in his division. I think he said he had him going 14-3, which is crazy. It's going to be a tough game. I think the Bengals will be favored here. Probably it's going to be like -1.5. So it's really a pick 'em in this game. But I have the Bengals winning this game. So they start off 1-1. Go have them travel or not traveling. They're going back to Baltimore to play against the Colts. Anthony Richardson. We'll probably see some flashes from Ant in this game. But I do think the Ravens end up winning this game. So they're 2-1. And then have them beating the Browns next week in Cleveland. That'll be another very tough game. I think this division is one of the toughest divisions in football. So every divisional game is going to be tough. And this division is notoriously known for divisional games being tough, and they always end up beating up on each other. So next week against the Steelers, I have them losing. Also have them losing to the Steelers. It's going to just be one of those, classic Steelers versus Ravens game. This game should be in primetime, I think, but
10 a.m.
It's going to be a 10 a.m. game like Garry just mentioned. So I think the Steelers come out with a victory. They have the Titans next in Tennessee. I have them beating the Titans. The week after that, they play against the Lions. I have them beating the Lions. I think it's going to be, they're going to kind of go on a little bit of a win streak here. Have them beating the Cardinals next week. Cardinals are trying to wink. Hey, we're going to get rid of Colt McCoy. We'll bring in Josh Dobbs. JJ Watt retires. We'll trade DeAndre Hopkins. We're trading guys away. We're not tanking. Wink for audio only listens. We're not tanking, but we're going to put, the best guys on the field that we can. So Ravens going a little bit of a streak here. I think I already said I had them beating the Seahawks. Sorry, Manny. I just think the Lamar Jackson is just better. Have them beating the Browns next week. They're kind of starting to rattle off a lot of wins here. Have them beating the Bengals this is a Monday night game. It's going to be a great game. Yes, or this is a Thursday night game, my bad. So it's going to be a primetime game. A lot of people are going to be tuned in for that. I know a lot of people struggled with Amazon just in general with having Thursday night football and just having to get. I feel like people will figure out a way to watch this game. So I have the Ravens win that game. So another primetime game. They're going to be playing against the Chargers. Now, I kind of went back and forth with a lot of losses that they potentially have, but I feel like they're going to go on a 3-game road trip here, and I have them losing to the Chargers in LA. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think the Ravens probably will be favored in this game, to be honest. Just based off of, I don't think the Chargers ever have home field advantage whenever a team kind of comes in. It's just kind of, they're going to LA, but a lot of other teams usually end up taking over their stadium. So I still do have the Chargers winning that game. They go and travel to Jacksonville. I have them losing to Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence probably makes a jump this year. There's been a lot of smoke on how good Trevor Lawrence actually is. After the performance they had in the playoffs, they did come back down 27-0, and then ultimately had Mahomes on the ropes. And, ultimately they ended up losing that game. But that was kind of a game they probably weren't even supposed to win. It was something for them to kind of learn and, build off of. And I think they'll end up having a good season here. So I have the Jags beating the Ravens. Christmas game. You got San Francisco 49ers. Now they put us on Christmas for a reason.
Have you guys been naughty or nice?
And this is going to be a very, 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 very close game. Now I remember.
I can't wait to hear y'all president being ill.
Yeah, couple of years ago, we played. I think it was 2019 year. We played the Ravens. It was kind of raining a little bit. It was another two juggernauts from different divisions. You don't really get to play against the Ravens at all because they're in a division that we don't really play against frequently. But I do have them losing to the San Francisco 49ers. Surprise, surprise. It's going to be a very close game. I kind of was going back and forth would they lose to the Chargers and end up beating the Niners, or would they lose to the Niners and end up beating the Chargers? So it's kind of like you kind of could pick your poison there. And then so they're on a 3-game losing streak here, and then they end up with 2 games back at home to close the year off.
What are they sitting at right now, Vaughn, for you? What are they sitting at?
Right now they are. I have their total record, so I'm just going to give you my total.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have them beating the Dolphins in week 16 or week 17 because extra game, and then I have them also beating the Steelers in the finale. So I have them finishing 12-5. Now, according to Garry's take, that's not better than 14-3, but they finished 12-5. I'm not sure if they win the division, but you got to win a lot of games to win this division because it is one of the toughest divisions in football. Like I said earlier in the show, this is a division that's notoriously known for just having the teams kind of beat up on each other.
Hard-mouth games.
They're always all of the division games you can damn near put in prime time every time that they play against each other because they're always tough. And, they're very grind out games. So I feel like this division is just going to kind of cannibalize itself. It's going to kind of come down to, outside of the division, the wins that you have outside of the division, because all of the games are going to be, you're just going to see 1-1.
That's what that Miami and San Francisco game is going to be tough at the end of the year. I'm not going to lie.
It's going to kind of come down to, can you beat the Chiefs or not the Chiefs? Can you beat the Chargers? Can you beat the Jazz? Can you beat the Niners? Dolphins, like you said? Can you beat all these teams outside of the division and just kind of, got to save your losses for the divisional game because they always beat up on each other.
Kev, real quick, I asked Vaughn, do you think this is the best division in the NFL right now?
I think the AFC East is.
I'm about to say.
But I think that this division is very, very close.
I think it really just comes down to you guys, and then in the AFC East, it comes down to the Raiders. Like, if it was 3 for 3, I would give it to the East, but I don't know. Like, I have high hopes for you guys, so I definitely think this is the best division of football. I think you guys are loaded, and like we said, the rebirth of Deshaun Watson, now he gets to play 17 games.
That's why I think that's the best division, because Deshaun Watson, I think basically, like you said, it comes down to him or Mac Jones really right now if you're like looking at the quarterbacks, and I think are we going to take Deshaun Watson? But yeah, I was wondering what you thought.
I think it's the AFC East, in my opinion, because you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Josh Allen, you got Bill Belichick in that league, and then you got the Dolphins, who have a super duper stacked roster, kind of just all over the board. So it's kind of like it's tough. I feel like the quarterback play is slightly better, but it's it's not like miles ahead. And they have the greatest coach in NFL history in that division too. So it's always going to be tough when you go against Bill Belichick.
So like we did with the Lions, we are going to go through the Cleveland Browns record as a panel. So,
Browns.
week 1, they got Joe Shiesty coming to town. Joe Brr, and I think I speak for the panel. L 0-1. Then they got the Steelers.
Okay, already said it.
I'm gonna go 0-2 here, Toddy. What do we think?
The Browns. I have the Browns losing to the Steelers.
Okay, I'm going 0-2. Then they got the Titans coming to town. Are they going to be 0-3?
Nah, I think they beat the Titans.
Are Titans still going to be fighting this year? Like, man, I'm just told this team does not like. They fight every year, but it's like, bro, they're going to be middle of the pack.
Vrabel not going to let them not fight.
So I'm saying they're going to be middle of the pack. So it's like, we know this is going to be a tough game. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a tough, especially like Ron just said, Derrick Henry, beginning of the year, legs fresh, ready to go. Cook you for 150, 200 if you want.
Okay, so we got them coming in at 1-2. Then they got the Ravens coming to town. I think I speak for the panel. I think we're going to take the Ravens here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're at 1-4. They got the Niners coming to town. I think I speak for the panel. Okay, 1-5. They got the Colts coming to town. I think I speak for the panel. I think we'll take the Browns.
Yeah.
2-5. Seahawks.
I think they beat Seattle.
Ooh, I was not going to say that. I'm taking Seattle.
I got Seattle.
I think they could come in. They could definitely beat Seattle.
I don't think Deshaun Watson's cooking at this time yet. That's why I think he needs at least till like around Thanksgiving time, like 2 more weeks away. Like that this Arizona game, right, Kev? You better say coming up.
Yeah,
that's the game. I feel like he's going. That's when I feel like he's going to start kicking it up and notch, getting back into his rhythm. But go ahead, Kev.
So our next game, the Cardinals. I think I speak for the panel. I think we're all going to go Browns here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then they got the Ravens. Is this going to be their 4th win of the year in Baltimore?
Nah. No. I got Ravens.
Yeah,
then they got the Steelers in Cleveland. Is this going to be their 3rd win of the year?
No.
I
already told you I was sweeping them.
I have them winning.
We're sweeping the Browns and we splitting with the Bengals and we splitting with the
I think they split.
Ravens.
You think they win, Kev?
Yeah, I think you guys are going to split.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is their 3rd one of the year. Then they got the Broncos. I think we're probably all going to speak as a panel and say we don't care. This game could be a tie.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to go with the Browns here. This is going to be win number 4.
This is an iffy situation, but yeah,
it could be close. It's going to be close.
Then we got the Rams. This is win number 5. I think I speak for the panel. I think we're going to give it to the Browns. That's 5. They got the Jags. I think we're all going to go Jags here.
Yep, Jags, W.
Jags.
Then they got the Bears. I think we're all going to go Bears here.
Bears, Browns. W.
I definitely have the Browns.
Texans, I think we're all going to go Browns here for win number 6.
Browns.
Then they got
Jets
the Jets.
have to win this game. So
I think we're all going Jets here.
Jets.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are they going to get 6 wins? They play the Bengals. Are they going to finish 5-12?
5-12. I know. I ain't going to lie to you.
5-12 or 6-11? No,
it's 5-12. 5-12.
Damn, they're going to lose too. I don't see them losing that many games though. I feel like some of the games you guys said were losses they could win. So
I just think the beginning of the year, like, how many games did Shaun watch for last year, guys? 6, 7?
Let's say 6.
6, and he was not obviously.
He was trash.
Yeah, he was trash. But then I'm not gonna even analyze that because it's like, all right, year and a half not playing football, almost 2 years. It makes sense, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like he leads already that 6 games plus the next 6 of the first. That's basically like a full season almost. So then it'll be kind of like he's in his second year basically with the Browns. I feel like in the middle of the year. That's why I feel like they still need some time to really get these wheels turning. By that time, it'll be too late. So that's why I think what the Browns season will look like.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. Due to the music rights, we couldn't have no music on. So, like I tell you guys every weekend, if you're sitting in your living room watching episode 48, go ahead and beat on your table for us and give us a little beat. All right.
Christian gave us a beat.
He did. So, like Toddy mentioned, Brock Purdy this, Brock Purdy that. Toddy, I'm going to go to you first. I had you guys do your homework, so you should be prepared with a top 5 NFC quarterback list. The question today, factor cap, is Brock Purdy going to finish the season a top 3 NFC quarterback? Factor cap.
All right, am I going first?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to say yes. I think the top 3. So Jalen Hurts is number 1. I think number 2 is, in my opinion, is Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is going to be probably the second best. I just think the Saints are going to be good. Their division is not really that good. I think they just have the best team. I think he's going to be probably the best. Dak is probably in there 3. I think Purdy can be better than Dak this year if he doesn't turn the ball over. You also Kirk Cousins is in there.
If we get the Rams quarterback,
Stafford. I don't think the Rams will be good.
I agree.
So, just going off, is your team winning and are you performing well? I'm going to say that's fact. I think Brock Purdy can definitely be. I mean, he went to the NFC Championship game in his first year ever, and he was the last pick up. He was the last pick of the draft. So I'm going to say that's a cap, or that's a fact.
Okay. Gary, I'm going to go to you next. Fact or cap? Is Brock Purdy going to end next season as a top 3 NFC quarterback?
So, Kev, after work, I was looking. I'm like, let me look at the homework for today. I got like 30, 40 minutes to really cook up. Looking, I'm like, all right, who is in the AFC? Now I'm looking, I'm like, I ain't even going to write a list, bro. I put Hurts number 1. After that, I literally put, it don't matter. It don't matter because I'm looking like, these are all average guys. Like, what are we doing here? So, you know what?
Right, it's not really compacted.
I'll say fact. Even though if Toddy's correct and how this is looking like to shake out, he won't be by the end of next year because what's his name, who's going to be USC quarterback, should be on an NFC team next year. So he probably won't be, but that's just for a time.
Damn, he probably won't go to an NFC team next year. That's crazy.
I'm assuming so. He has to. How many quarterbacks are going to stick now in the AFC? Like, come on, that thing is jam packed over there.
Yeah.
So I think to be honest with you, due to what Kev and Vaughn said, I'm not gonna lie. Due to what Vaughn said in terms of the Niners going to be winning, I'm assuming he's going to be probably putting up good stats. Due to lack of competition, that basically hurts. That's the only thing I got over here, and that's probably music to Kevin's ears, basically. So I would say fact. I think he's going to be top 3 in the NFC by the end of the year. That actually tells a lot to say what Dak
basically saying he's going to be better than Dak. Can he be better than Dak? I think he can be.
Okay, or like you guys are saying, didn't someone want to say Bryce Young? I know he's in Carolina. Not yet. Okay.
Top 3 that's a stretch for the first
and
year.
we're actually like, I ain't gonna lie to you. See, this guy, he can't be top 3, but I believe he's gonna get back on the right track. I don't know if he's gonna back. No. Mr. Arizona Cardinals himself. I know he got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Kyler Murray. I feel like there's a whole bunch going on. And I really liked him prior to, when they were winning for those couple of years, especially. So I feel like once he can get back on track, I don't know if it's going to be with his team, obviously, because obviously they seem like they got bad blood. So hopefully he can get back on track. But I do believe that he'll be having some noise in the future, but not just yet. And basically, is he getting better than Geno?
He's better than Geno. Man, he doesn't believe
I don't know why. I mean, last year.
Y'all played him in both the games that he played. He outplayed him.
Yeah, but
played him 3 times last year. We played him 3 times last year in the 2 games that Brock Purdy played in because he didn't play in the
first game. But your team was better too.
Because Trey got hurt. I mean, that's not my fault. That's not.
But that doesn't make. But that doesn't make him. Yeah, it does matter for the QB to be top 3.
My team is better.
That plays a factor in your quarterback being top 3.
You got DK. You got DK. You got Tyler Lockett. And you got,
that's why we were saying the same thing about Hurts last year. Like, if he's doing good, he has to prove it because he has a great team. And what he do, Vonny, in the playoffs, he proved it. So we gave him credit where credit was due. So all I got to see is Brock Purdy now. Your team is good. Now let's make sure that you also are, punching all the tickets here and making sure that this team is good also because of you too. Not just because the team is good that you're good. Also, you contribute to the team pushing forward, not just keeping them the same. That's the question right now is Brock Purdy. Is he the type of player that is Jimmy G type to keep him the same, or is he going to start taking to the next level, which y'all need to win the bowl? That's all the question I think Brock Purdy is. But I think for the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give the young, what do they call him? The last man standing, the last pick, whatever.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant. Sorry for the disrespect, my guy. Mr. Irrelevant will be top 3. And that actually don't say nothing, to be honest. And this is another. Shaun's probably behind me because I'm gonna diss it. I still diss him. That don't mean nothing. Top 3, he's still probably not in top 10 because there's like 10 quarterbacks on the other side that are better than him. So that don't really say much. All right,
Brock Purdy.
He's making him look like a good light right now. You give him a good light, Kev. You give him top 3 NFC.
Is Brock Purdy going to be a top 3 NFC quarterback at the end of the next season? Fact or cap? I'm gonna say cap. You guys mentioned a lot of great names, but the one name we did not mention, the man I talked about bringing in the receiver, bringing in the weapons. I got number 3, Justin Fields.
To go 6-11.
Number 2. Hey, man, give me about 4, 5, 6 more chains and call me Kirkio. I got Kirkio coming at second. And number 1, we didn't even got to mention, Jalen Hurts. So I think Brock Purdy, I think he's going to be in for a season. Now we get to see a full season of him. That whole, 7 games where I started and finished, that shit don't mean nothing no more. So now we're going to see a full year of film. Is Brock Purdy that guy? I hate being this guy, but the Niners said first round, fuck no. Second round, fuck no. Third round, fuck no. Fourth round, fuck no. Fifth, sixth, and seventh round said, let's put him on. It's only what, 500,000, Toddy? That's pocket change to John Lynch. Come on, Brock. Come on in. Let's see what you can do.
When he throws for 250 in the first week, and we win on the road against one of the top 5 defense in the league, then nobody's gonna
put him behind a great offensive line and great weapons. I mean, you can play quarterback. But so last week in the group text, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of insight. When I gave him the homework last week, Toddy goes, "Uh-oh." So this has been a real big spicy topic since last summer. So Toddy, I'm gonna go to you first. Fact or cap? Has Dwight Howard had a better career than Anthony Davis?
This was a very, very, very tough kind of going back and forth. Oh yeah. Let's look. So Dwight Howard, his career average, it's gonna be lower than Anthony Davis's, was 15.7 points per game. Averaged about 12 rebounds a game, averaged about 2 blocks a game. His best year was the 09-10 season when they went to the finals playing against Kobe. We kind of know how that went, the magical run that they kind of went on. It was supposed to be the LeBron versus Kobe finals, but the Magic kind of cut that short by beating the Cavs. I think it was in 6 games. In that year, he averaged 23 and 14. Dwight was damn near unstoppable. I don't think Dwight had the offensive giftedness that Anthony Davis has, but he was definitely a guy that was able to get buckets and kind of be an unstoppable force on the interior, and basically able to clean the glass. And I was listening to a podcast with Jameer Nelson on, I think it was a Knuckleheads podcast, and Jameer Nelson was basically letting guys go into the paint, and Dwight Howard was basically beating shit off the glass. So he was letting the defender kind of go by him, and he would just, whenever he shot a layup up, send that shit to the crowd. So it kind of just shows you. And also 8-time All-Star, 8-time first team All-Defense, and he basically went on like a 7-year stretch of just from basically to 2006 to 2013, he was first team All-NBA, and he was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. 3 years in a row, pretty much, from 2008 to 2010, and he's obviously an NBA champion. We'll kind of go to Anthony Davis. So Anthony Davis, career averaging, Dwight played in, I think, like 1,600 games, if I'm not mistaken. Anthony Davis basically played half that, so Dwight has had the more, longer career, so Anthony Davis has a little bit more to go. In those 666 games, Anthony Davis averaged 24 points, about 10 rebounds, 2.3 blocks. He's a champion as well. He was on that team with Dwight Howard, or Dwight Howard was on the team with Anthony Davis. They ended up winning that bubble championship. He's an 8-time All-Star.
Championship. You don't got to put bubble in front of it. Just say championship.
It was in the bubble. 4-time All-NBA, 14, 16, 17, and 19. His best year was the 16-17 year. I believe that was the year when they played against the Warriors in the playoffs, and they had I think Boogie was on the team, if I'm not mistaken, and he averaged 28 and 12 that year. So this is very close. Damn, this is crazy because Dwight Howard has more accolades than Anthony Davis at this point in his career. But I feel like Anthony Davis is the more talented player. So it kind of goes back to when we're saying, who had the better career, kind of going back to when CT was on the podcast. Dwayne Wade versus Paul Pierce. I'm going to say Dwight Howard had the better career. When Dwight Howard was, when he was playing with the Magic, even with the Rockets, he was just, the guy. He was just like, I'm the best big man. There's not really no ifs, ands, or buts. There's not really no ifs, ands, or buts. He kind of like, there was like a 7 to 8 year stretch where he just dominated, just completely just dominated. Like you couldn't stop Dwight Howard. Now, like I said, Anthony Davis is the more gifted offensive player, and I think a lot of people would probably take Anthony Davis over Dwight Howard in some stance. Kind of depends on what you're looking for when you're trying to start a team. But Dwight Howard was that dude, and 3 times one of the greatest defensive players of all time. Was supposed to be on NBA 75, but I think he just missed the list.
Robbed him.
I think he gets a lot of disrespect in today's day and age. People don't realize how crazy Dwight Howard was. Like he was like
they don't think he got the quote unquote dog because he smiled, but he used to kill motherfuckers.
He was supposed to be basically like the next Shaq. That's what a lot of people were saying that he was supposed to be. Was literally the next
Shaq actually hated that. That's why too, probably.
Yeah, they were calling him Superman, this, that, and the third, and he was like, he's not that. Shaq was like, he's not Superman. That's me. So as far as career-wise goes, I'm going to say Dwight Howard has a better career, but I feel like the better player, you could give the edge to Anthony Davis because he kind of has those same defensive traits and can give you 40 on any given night pretty much. We saw that in the playoffs this past year. So I'm going to say so it's a fact then that Dwight Howard had a better career than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is still playing, so this could be
true.
This could definitely be a different answer in like the next 5-6 years because Anthony Davis still playing.
Right, 1,000%.
All right, Garry, I'm going to come next. So you got to make it 2 in a row. Factor cap, has Dwight Howard had a better career than Anthony Davis?
All right, guys, I'm about to be politicking a little bit with an eye test on this one. Von, we're on the same track today, brother. I was thinking the same thing. Well, we was talking about Carmelo Anthony and Paul Pierce last week, but the same type of question where, the angle was the career. Is the career better? Now, I was really thinking about that a lot because I watched Paul Pierce talk about it after how he was trying to make his, debate if maybe he could be better Dwayne Wade, which he had some good points. He had some good points. A lot of ifs, but he had some good points. So I wanted to say, like, basically, Vaughn said in terms of career, you just lift stuff off the accolades. Dwight Howard ain't nothing to play with. I feel like I just said it right now. He literally got disrespected, I think, off the top 75. I think any person that he played him in his prime time, which is one of the GOATs, all we know, LeBron James. He literally took LeBron James out when him and LeBron and Kobe were supposed to have a matchup in the finals. And, Dwight Howard is standing in between that, like we mentioned with Jameer Nelson and J.J. Redick and all the shooters they had on that team were like, Von, I feel like he probably could have developed. I know he went to the couple years when he went to Houston trying to go. Remember those reports, him talking to Olajuwon and everyone went to Olajuwon during that time, to be honest, to learn the paint moves and things of that nature. I think they said LeBron went to one time, so I'm saying that. But I was just saying that to say that he really didn't have to shoot that much because his defensive presence was so much impact. Literally, he's affecting and causing shots. I would bet my money that guards during that time would not want to go to the point, and like you said the other day, Jameer Nelson saying basically he's funneling people to Dwight to basically do a cleanup crew, tossing everything that comes into the paint. And he was just a force to be working with, like we mentioned, was in the conversation with Shaq, and compared to Shaq, that's how much dominant he was close to being during that time. All defensive teams, like you went to that. Like the resume is just still built up to like perfection in terms of one of the best big men of his era who played. And literally, so I feel bad for the guy because it literally says Taiwan, what is it? Leopards he's playing for right now when he should be in the league playing with somebody because he still is such a freak athlete, still has the perfect body to play in the NBA and can still give a team something, especially with his, like you mentioned, when he won a championship with the Lakers, giving that presence of championship and just giving some, vet knowledge, which we know that a lot of NBA players nowadays preach about that. How there's a little bit of the Dame spoke about this too, how there's not that much vets as there used to be that can really help the game and nurture the people. So I feel like, yes, Dwight Howard has a better career, but again, I'm going to go back to what Vaughn said. I do feel like Anthony Davis still has a lot that he can still put on a resume to easily pass Dwight Howard. One more ring will suffice, to be honest with you. One more dominant one with LeBron, I feel like will suffice as well. Like you mentioned, he is a guy that's literally a unicorn in his own right, who is literally can score from any which way. I just think that I'm gonna give Dwight Howard a little more credit just because when he was that man, number one, he took his team to the finals. And even though we know Anthony Davis had a big major role in the Lakers winning the 2020 finals, LeBron James was the man and helped taught that man to go where he wanted to go. Even though Dwight Howard didn't get to D done when he was the man, he still brought that team. And we all know, not to knock down Anthony Davis, those Pelicans teams were not very good when he was there. Maybe just 1 year with Boogie, and after that they weren't good at all. So, and he put up big numbers in that uniform. So he's great and all. And Anthony Davis has still a lot to prove and not a lot to prove, but a lot still more to add to his resume and can easily beat Dwight Howard in this career conversation. If we're talking about just career, I got to give it to Dwight Howard, D12, to take that one to be the best career. Even though, like you mentioned, talent, he might be better, bag wise. I was talking about Melo bag wise, he might be better at things of that nature. But when you're talking about, when you put the resume lined up right now, like you're doing it right now for this question, is Dwight Howard.
I kind of wanted to go back. The 08-09 season was the year that they beat LeBron in 6 games. LeBron ended up when that was the game when LeBron took off his jersey, left the Cavs, this and the third. The 09-2010 season was the year that they lost to Boston, and that kind of I think that was the year that the Celtics ended up playing the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. So my years were mixed up. I think I was a year or two early. Blue was like, yeah, you damn
Blue
right.
Agrees, man. Don't worry, Kev. You can make Blue give her answers too, man.
Yeah, no, Blue agrees. So we got college football coming up. I know last week counts as week 1, but to the betting man, Jaevon Todd, that's just me.
Kev, what's your answer?
We got time purposes, man. We gonna go, but
I was gonna know who you like. That's real quick.
I'm gonna go Dwight Howard 100%. I don't think it's.
I just want to know. We ain't walking away. We gotta know your answer though. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dwight Howard 1,000%. But like I was mentioning, Jaevon Todd. Last week was week 1, and some people, the betting man, says it was week 0. So we have a few football games that we want to talk for week 1 of college football. We have Florida at number 14, Utah. We have Colorado and Deion Sanders. The first game of his campaign versus number 17 TCU. Then probably the best game of the weekend, we have number 5 LSU versus number 8 Florida State, and then we have the Battle of the Carolinas, South Carolina versus North Carolina. Toddy, what are your picks for that? We'll do the Vonny's Hotline next. What are your just straight pick'em games? Who are you going with these games and why?
This is kind of all intertwining with Vonny's Hotline because these are pretty much like all the
Bring
picks.
out Vonny's Hotline because y'all know I got nothing to say about this. Yeah, I want to be sitting there just watching it.
Yeah. So it's pretty much, this kind of is Vonny's Hotline, pretty much. This is pretty much the segment here. But I'll start off with the game that's on Thursday. So I kind of said this last week. It was a part of the hotline last week. And I ended up going 1-1 basically. Caleb Williams, he did score 4 touchdowns. He threw 4 touchdowns last week. I told you don't be afraid of it. The 300 also said don't be afraid of it, but at the same time, he got taken out. I think early, in the fourth quarter. He was at 278 the start of the fourth quarter, and they took him out because they were up by 30. So they were like, we're just gonna rest him. If he would have just at least played that one. I think when we had a special teams touchdown. Zachariah Branch is the new freshman from Bishop Gorman, is a guy who's going to be electrifying all season long. So just get used to that name, Zachariah Branch. You'll be hearing me say his name a lot throughout the podcast for the college football season. But I feel like if we did not have that touchdown off of the kickoff return, Caleb would have probably had 300 yards. So
you went 1-1 in hotline so far, right?
Basically went 1-1 on hotline. So I got 4 picks. Now you can be a gambler like me and parlay all these together, or you could just take straights and pick which ones you like. So Colorado playing against TCU. Deion Sanders, it's been the talk of the town. We even had Mark Jones come on the show, talk about what do we think about what he thinks that Colorado's going to say. He says 9 wins. The over-under win total on the Buffaloes, as they call themselves in Boulder, is 3.5. So they only think Deion's going to win 4 games. I think that's crazy. Deion can only win 4 games. It just doesn't sit right with me. You have a guy in Travis Hunter who was the number 1 overall recruit coming out of high school. I believe that was 2 years ago. You obviously have Shador Sanders. A lot of people who like to sleep on him. Kev thinks that Shador Sanders is going to be Heisman Trophy candidate, which I think is nuts. I don't think he's going to be that, but I think he's going to turn some heads a little bit. I think Shador is going to kind of come in. He can't be any worse than the last guy because they went 1-13 last year. So, or 1-11, whatever they're. Yeah, they only won one game last year, so it wasn't cool. They are plus 575 against TCU, which is insane. If you put $100 down, you can win 575. I'm not saying to go and sprinkle your money and throw it on Colorado to win at TCU on the road. I'm not saying to do that. However, the spread is 20.5. I'm hammering the spread all day long. There's no way in the hell you're going to tell me that Deion Sanders is going to get blown out on national television. Week 1 by 3 touchdowns against a team in TCU. Now, albeit they lost a lot of guys to the draft, a lot of their skill guys and top players on TCU to the draft. So I don't think that they'll be the same team as they were last year. Now, a lot of people didn't even think that they would. They weren't even ranked this time around last year. So a lot can happen in the college football season. So I'm taking Colorado plus 20.5 here. Marcellus is saying that the defense is trash. So that's a whole other thing. So the next game would be, the first game isn't even the Colorado game. The first game was the Florida game, but we just talked about Colorado. So we're going to rewind. Thursday night, you got Florida against Utah. I think Florida, I said on last week's podcast, it was they were -7. The line moved to 6.5, so it moved down a little bit. This line is kind of telling me a little bit that Cam Rising, the Utah quarterback, is probably going to end up playing, but he hasn't really practiced. He's been hurt basically all offseason, kind of recovering from an ACL injury that he had last year. So don't really know too much if he's going to play or not. If you want to sprinkle the money line for Florida, they're plus 210 or plus 215 right now. So it's a little juicy. I think we're going to see up front how good Florida is and how good Utah's line's going to look. I feel like the line of scrimmage is going to be huge for them, and how healthy that Cam Rising can be. The game came down to last second interception on the goal line. I don't know if you guys were paying attention last week. Kev's wedding was literally the exact same time this game was going on, and I had this game definitely going on while he was giving his vows. So
whole world, man. Drove all that way to watch the game.
A lot went down. Cam Rising throws a game-losing interception. They drove all the way down and just to throw a pick at I was hot, but nevertheless, my friend got married that day, so I should have been happy, right? But I think Utah probably wins this game, but I do like Florida plus 6.5 here. I think this game will be very close. I don't know if they'll score a lot.
You got $200 so far, right, Vaughn? $200.
Yeah. I don't have Florida winning this game per se, but I do think it's going to be very close. So I'm going to take Florida in the spread. So the next game would be the night game on Saturday night, South Carolina versus North Carolina. I feel like a lot of people – North Carolina's favored in this game.
2.5.
I think a lot of people are like, all right, Drake May is the guy, right? I think he is. He's probably going to be the number 2 pick in the draft behind, that guy, he who must not be named. I don't think North Carolina's defense is any good. I feel like it's just going to be Drake May kind of just playing hero ball the entire game, and he's going to just, pull plays out of his ass. Probably end up throwing for like 200-300 yards in this game. But I don't think their team's good enough. I think South Carolina, Spencer Rattler, I don't think he's the better quarterback. But I feel like their team is better than North Carolina's team. I think they're better up front. Defensively, I think they're better. I feel like they'll figure out ways to stop Mac Brown's offense and Drake May. I think Drake May is going to be, limited. He's only going to be able to do so much, and the defense is not really going to be able to support them. If you kind of look at a lot of the games that North Carolina played in, they were in a bunch of shootouts. And defense was not defensing at all. So I'm going to roll with South Carolina. They are the favorite here. I'm going to take them straight up, plus 115. I think Spencer Rattler's going to have a solid night. A lot of people are kind of up and down about him because of him last year not really having. He played like shit up until they beat Clemson, and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, they beat Clemson, bro!" He threw for like 5 touchdowns, bro. I could not believe it. And I did win some money on him that day because I took South Carolina plus. I took him for whatever the spread was because I didn't think they were going to get blown out. That was going to be close. Thank you, Spencer Rattler. And then they beat Tennessee last year. So those 2 games, for one of the top teams in the country, Spencer Rattler kind of showed up and showed why he was one of the top quarterbacks of his class when he was coming out of high school. So don't be afraid of that plus 115. South Carolina is at home. And I think North Carolina's favored just because a lot of people put money on Drake May and just think, Drake May, he's obviously going to be the number 2 pick in the draft. They're going off based off of that. But I don't think North Carolina has the team in place to kind of, dethrone South Carolina. So I have South Carolina actually winning that game. Man, Sunday night. This is a game.
Game.
This is going to be a crazy game. This was another game I was watching on the road back from Kevin's wedding because I did drive all the way up here. So I was watching this. I had self-drive because I wanted to watch this game. LSU against Florida. Now, I think this game, it's on a neutral site. It's somewhere. I don't know where.
I can look it up for you.
Kev can look it up for me. But it's on a neutral site. I think it's the same place where they played last year. This game basically went all the way down to the wire last year. Basically a block extra point. Kind of. Jaden Daniels basically drove all the way down the field last year and won them the game until the game-winning or the game-sealing extra point got blocked, and LSU ended up losing. A lot of people are high on Jordan Travis, the quarterback for Florida State. I think Florida State had a top recruiting class coming in this past year, so a lot of people are really high on them. I think Florida State is ranked like top 10 in the country, somewhere around that. And LSU is also ranked
number 8.
Number 8, and I think LSU is like 5.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah. So it's top 10 matchup. It is very, very anticipated. This game could really go either way.
Game's in Orlando, Florida.
It's in Orlando. Okay. I think LSU comes out on top. They are the favorite, minus 140 favorite. But I couldn't see. I wouldn't be mad at you. You picked Florida State to win this game. Mike Norvell is going into his, I think it's his second or third year as the head coach of Florida State.
So you taking the spread on this game, Von?
I'm taking LSU straight up. So
straight up.
Okay.
It's
He's a
going.
Daniel fan, huh?
I am a Jaden Daniel fan. I thought he had a good year last year. Had a couple of marquee wins, obviously in the SEC championship last year. Kind of blew a stinker against Georgia because everybody looks inferior to Georgia pretty much. So I think Jaden Daniels could definitely have a potential Heisman season if he plays his cards right. So I have LSU winning. So let's just say if you were crazy like me and wanted to parlay all of these games together, it would be plus 1,305. So if you put $100 down, you'd win basically 13.
Well, nice little penny.
So
you got
but these games are pretty
300 dogs and one favorite. So
that's why I'm like, if you want to parlay this, I probably wouldn't recommend it, but I'm probably going to end up parlaying it. These games are spread out though, so it's like all of these games are kind of like one game's on Thursday and one game's on Sunday. 2 games are on Saturday and one's on Sunday. So it's like you gotta want to.
Parlay could be done after Thursday.
It could be.
Yeah.
Thursday, so
done the shit.
Those are my picks for this week. I won one last week. Hopefully you guys won some money. Like I said, if you want to parlay this, I'm not recommending it. But if you want to be a sicko like me and parlay, or if you want to, kind of pick your spots here and there. If you're like, hey, maybe I like this game, go ahead. So that's the hotline for this week. So wait until football. Wait until NFL comes around. It's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy.
Episode 48 of Stats Over Politics. Like I mentioned previous during the episode, please leave a like. We really appreciate it. It helps us go a long way. We've been growing at a fast pace, and we're nothing without you guys. So before we get out of here, fellas, we had some breaking news. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm going to pull up the quote for you guys right here. So when asked if he was going to sign an extension next summer, he said, I will not be the best version of myself if I don't know that everyone's on the same page. Everyone's going for a championship. Everybody's going to sacrifice, time away from their family like I do. And I don't feel that. And if I don't feel that, I'm not signing. So this was huge news. So, Garry, I'm going to go to you first. What were your initial thoughts? And, I know this is a long game to play, but where would you like to see Giannis put on?
Oh, I put right here, as he should. He should be putting pressure on the Bucks because he did what he needed to do in the Bucks uniform. He won a championship for the Milwaukee Bucks. He got it done. He dropped a 50 ball in the finals. It went crazy to put a crown on his head and become one of the best players of his generation and become, arguably one of the best players in the world right now. Him and Jokic, are fighting for the crown basically right now. Jokic probably got it because he got the MVP and he got this last recent championship. But Giannis ain't going nowhere. So basically, this is his. Well, LeBron used to do to Cleveland. Keep the pressure on. If I'm in the conversation with one of the best players in the league and maybe one of the best players to ever play this game, maybe one day, and Giannis could be in that conversation with how much talent he has and how much dominance he's been having over this league, literally averaging 30. He can easily average a triple-double with 30 just because how dominant he is in the paint, all the kick-out shots he gets. This Milwaukee Bucks team has been a juggernaut the last few years. But as he's seen the forest from the trees as well, that, they're starting to get a little old, a little long in the tooth over there in Milwaukee. A lot of the guys they have been winning with, like Drew and obviously Middleton coming off injury. They're just re-signed the Lopez brother himself too. So they need to, they got a couple guys there that are kind of a little bit getting in the 30s now. So he's basically saying 2 years from now, I don't know, I'll have the same guys with me. And if I don't have the same guys with me and we don't re-up, and, you guys are not going for it right now, get a Dame over here, get someone over here to help me out, then, I might have to look somewhere else, which I don't mind because I don't know if you guys noticed, and I really kind of don't been liking it, even though I love players going to go where they want to go and get the bag and be happy and all, because obviously we watch this game because of the players. But I kind of miss a little bit of like, all right, either the NBA is kind of giving you a decision, like, all right, you like LeBron, all right, if you want to stay in Cleveland, all right, you get the money, you stay in Cleveland. Like Melo, you stayed in New York, whatever, you stayed in Denver, you stay, you get the money. If you leave, then you don't get as much money, but then you basically choose the ring. You choose the winning culture. You choose it. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, they're saying, bunk that. I'm going to get my money, and I'm going to go where I want to go, which is straight up. It's good. It's respect. I love it. It's just like, man, like, the teams ain't got nowhere to win. So that's why I love it because at the end of the day, the players, I want to see players happy, play where they want to play at. So it's really good in my fan perspective and loving the game. But in terms of, I feel like the NBA perspective, I don't think, they're not liking when Dame's asking for a contract trade. It's not good for business when you got 5 years. When Durant's asking for a trade and he got 4 years left on his deal. It's just not good business for the NBA. So just saying that, I feel like Giannis is going to be one of the first since basically against Durant when Golden State years and with Kyrie, he's going to have a chance maybe to be a free agent and get a pick where he wants to go with them not losing nothing in return. It's going to be really dangerous. So answer your question, Kev. I love this from Giannis. I like how he's keeping his feet to the fire for the Bucks. Bring him a sack. Why not? We almost had a chance to draft him. Von, I ain't lying to be perfect. I don't know if the money would work, but it makes so much sense.
Please don't bring it up.
No, it makes the money. Oh yeah, the money. I don't know if the money's gonna work, but in terms of it making sense, man, we got De'Aaron who could just be, it'll be so perfect. We need a rim protector. Obviously, he's gonna be all. We know he's a defensive guy, and you playing right next to Sabonis. Sabonis, less pressure on him, gets his baby spread his wings, getting more in the mid range. I feel like I know he wasn't hitting the mid range of the playoffs versus Draymond, but I still believe in Sabonis all 100% that he's gonna come back and really that small little thing's gonna be leveled up. So I can't wait to see that. So exactly.
Salvador Shaun for letting us know that they chose Jimmer Fredette over Giannis.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, I did hear something, maybe just like a little, I think it was like a
Jimmer goes 7.
He say, she say type thing. But I did hear before Giannis maybe thought he was coming to Sac. He maybe thought during that time he might have was gonna come to Sac. Was he get drafted to Sac? Just let y'all know. But
imagine.
Just exactly. So I don't exactly. So you know what? I don't care. From Sacramento, we love Sacramento over here, Sacramento Kings, baby. So I'm gonna put my flag on. Giannis, come on down. We'll end the whole city after you. We've been saying that for Braun, and Braun would have came. So we'll end the whole city after you. Whatever you want. You and Cali, you got good weather.
It's a new era in Sac too, so it's not crazy.
Exactly. So, if he wants to go to New York or somewhere big where he gets to have all the glitz and glamour, so be it. But Giannis is also a humble. Not saying if you want to go to a place, you're not humble, but he's one of the people that actually maybe has a chance to come to a small market since he's proven that he's won and he's proven that he likes to stay out the limelight. So, come on down to Sac, kid. Let him know. Come down to Sac.
So Toddy, I'm gonna go to you next. I thought I was gonna be the only person drinking that purple Kool-Aid. Could you imagine Giannis Antetokounmpo with De'Aaron Fox? So I know everyone says Sacramento small market team is never gonna happen. 2 years from now, with Mike Brown putting in this blueprint, this team could take another jump, and then after that, take another jump. So we're not gonna have to give nothing away. So let's theoretically speaking, let's say we make it to a Western Conference Finals in the next 2 years. Giannis looks at that. We got a lot of our young guys signed. Why not? Why not dibble and dabble in Sacramento? I mean, we might not be considered a small market
team over the hump. Oh man, he'd be the GOAT. He'd be the GOAT in Sacramento. That's for sure.
Hey man, I'd for sure have a 34 jersey. Couldn't spell the last name, but I'd get it.
1,000%.
All right, Toddy, we'll come to you to end the show. What are your thoughts on Giannis?
I think Giannis probably ends up staying. They're going to build a statue for him.
Really? I don't think he stays, Von. Why? He got so many different options. He got them a ring.
Yeah, he got him a ring. I just think
they sold the owner's gone too. They've been basically remodeling over there already.
So they got to pump himself up. They lost. There's no way they should have lost to the Heat.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know. I don't see Giannis the type to team up with guys. I feel like Giannis is gonna be
team up, but he could be the big guy on the team. He could be the number one still.
I just don't see it happening. I feel like he's gonna re-sign for like $80 million a year in Milwaukee and stay. Whatever,
I can see it.
Whatever the max would be, he's gonna get that. Because that cap is gonna keep going up and up. So Giannis is gonna get his back. He's gonna stay. He already has a championship in Milwaukee. He's gonna be, considered one of the best players in the league year in, year out. But I did dabble into a couple of teams who I thought that he could end up going to.
There you go. Come on, I'll keep him in Milwaukee. Let's get to the juicy, please.
The Dallas Mavericks. Luka, Kyrie, and
that'd be a good combo.
Even
though they're both going downhill.
No bench.
Oh, they still got Kyrie?
No bench.
There's no way they have all three of them.
Yeah, okay. Fantasy world.
If you can have Bradley Beal,
it's true.
Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal on the same team, I think it's possible.
But Giannis about to get that ultra bag because he's been there for a while, so he's gonna get that ultra bag.
Another place y'all ain't gonna like it. Y'all are not gonna like it.
Celtics.
The Golden State Warriors.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Stephen Curry. They somehow reinvent themselves again and get Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Warriors. Oh my God.
That wouldn't be fair, bro.
The league would be in an uproar. Like it would just be like, bro, these fuckers won't die. Like you can't. They won't die. They will never go away. This old ass trio that's been around since we were in high school is still competing for championships. Please watch out for the Golden State Warriors. Another team that could definitely be in contention. Another team that I kind of was in the mix that I saw.
Miami. They done beat them a couple times now.
No,
join him.
Hey, he'd be number one guy. That's the type of culture.
I had Atlanta on there. Him and Trey.
Oh man, Von, what are you doing? Atlanta.
Trey and Giannis together would be crazy. He's never really
they
played
would. Like I don't think that he would want to be in Atlanta. I don't think he would vibe, but they gotta be a hard working culture already built for Giannis to be there. A hard working culture. Come on now. That's what Kevin said. We're on the right path.
Those are pretty much the other team. Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like he wouldn't team up with LeBron. I don't see that happening. I don't think he would team up.
Can you go to hold on? I got you right here. Can he go to LA when LeBron leaves in 2 years and team up with AD?
Giannis ain't See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like he stays. That's why I think he ultimately
And he says the gambler loves to dabble. He loves to dabble.
So, what do you guys think about that, Kevin? What you think about that? Why just bought out right there?
Lakers
going to LA, going up to help Anthony Davis.
But even though the Lakers are always talking to stars, they're always trying.
Hey, it ain't the first time they took a Milwaukee Bucks big man. They took a guy named Lou Cinder back in the day after he won a chip for Milwaukee. Mr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said, "Hey, maybe they'll do that again. We never know.
Yeah.
And he gets the
Before
money.
we get out of here, my man Shaun had to let us know. Gary's an undercover Laker fan. I don't think it's undercover.
So is Kevin.
I'm a LeBron fan.
Kevin's a LeBron fan. Don't get it twisted. I give a damn. Well, actually, let me take it back. I'm
he said, if you go back to when they were playing in the playoffs, they were saying we in multiple takes.
Prior to LeBron going, I hate the Lakers. LeBron leaves, I hate the Lakers again. Simple.
I still hate the Lakers. If there was a way for LeBron to only get a ring and the rest of them not, I'd be down. And Cam. If Cam can get a ring too, I'm all in.
Okay.
Cam don't look like that, Cam. I'm over here. LeBron got to get one more.
No.
Two more, to be honest.
The man is hot. For audio only listeners, Shaun says Garry just said he's a LeBron fan, but yet he's playing in live.
Well, I'm talking about what Giannis needs and what can Giannis do for his career to help him. Obviously, it would not be good for us Kings fans. Duh, Shaun. I'm just trying to help Giannis. I'm trying to help Giannis get some rings. I'm not caring about the Lakers. I'm talking about Giannis getting some rings.
So we're heading out here, fellas. Ready?
USC is going to probably win next week. Saturday is going to be a pretty good slate of games. College football is back. I'm excited. A lot of money to be made.
Hey, make sure you guys flood the Colorado over because they're going to come in here 1-0, baby, on the road to 9 victories and winning the Pac-12. Caleb Williams, Shador Sanders. Oh, yeah, Heisman Trophy.
Please remember
this is episode 48 of Stats Where Politics. My name is Kevin Dench, stepping in for the GOAT, Shaun. And we got my man Toddy and Garry with me. This is episode 48. Please make sure you see all the socials on the page. Wherever you see us, go ahead and leave a repost, leave a like. It means the world to us. And we're going to keep giving you guys that content. So keep showing the love and we're going to support you guys. So you guys have a great rest of your night. And we will see you guys on Monday for episode 49.
Peace.